Hello, everybody. Good evening. Yo. Stealth Mouse, John, Alex, Mams. We got Dante. We got Sumika, Quitchman. All these beautiful songwriting people. Nyaitupi, how you doing? Hello, all. Albi, how's it going? Han, how you doing? And of course, our two lovely guests. Yes, not one, but two lovely guests. Say hi to Mr. Ben Levin. No, Ben Levin. And Angel Marcloid. Welcome. Ben. That's fair. Yeah, I can imagine Ben with a tuna sandwich. No, Ben is vegan. I think so. Unless I... Ben Levin. That's a good joke. A vegan tuna sandwich? That is possible. They do sell that here. Ben leaving. How are you doing, Angel? Thanks so much for hopping on. Welcome back, I should say.
Probably the most relaxed I've been all day.
That's good. Oh, yeah. Oops. Now you can...
muted me.
Oh my god. Terrible streamer. Terrible streamer. There we go. Well, let's recreate the conversation. Hi. How are you doing, Angel? So good to see you again.
Hi, I'm good. Did you ask me something before I said the thing I said?
No, just how you're doing. Yeah. And we were talking about Ben's either or vegetarian or veganism.
Yeah. My vote is well, maybe it's vegan now. Because you know, Ben we're just going to talk like he's not here. I'm pretty sure that Ben has become like increasingly more concerned with animal welfare, so I could see it being true that maybe a short while ago he was vegetarian and now he's vegan, but I didn't know about it. All right, Ben, confirm or deny?
I'm here.
Your diet.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello. Sorry, I had a issue I had to deal with, but it's dealt, and I am much more concerned about animal welfare now, to the extent that I've started my own nonprofit called Animals Get Out, where we're trying to get all the animals out of here so we can't hurt them. So we're just kind of moving them away
to
trucks.
Neptune. Or...
Oh, is that humor? Are you joke telling?
Yeah, yes, mostly humor.
Neptuna.
Oh, that's where the tuna will go.
I'll miss them though, Ben. So that's the only problem.
Yeah, but it's not always about us, right?
But Ben, the people want to know: are you vegan or vegetarian?
Oh, I'm vegan.
Yes.
When did that start though?
I win.
5 years ago.
Okay, so I was half wrong.
I was vegetarian starting in 2006, and then 5 years ago, made the switch to being vegan.
Dang.
Surprising to everyone.
It's a beautiful decision.
I'm sure you're probably pretty used to it now. You don't really struggle to like find things you can eat because you know where to go, you know what to get, things like that.
Yeah, it hasn't been difficult. Are we definitely live? I don't see the chat.
I had that problem too, but if you refresh it, you'll see a lot of beautiful names in the chat.
I'm seeing them all. They're all making jokes like Neptuna, Ben Levin.
Yep.
Ben arriving.
They're all making fun of us.
Ben Levining. Venus salad.
Thank you very much.
Venus salad. Oh, that was a thing.
Yeah, I listened to those two albums like a few weeks ago again. It was so fun to listen back. Oh my god,
Yeah.
it was thrilling. I need to do it again sometime. Maybe I'll.
It would
do
be
that
awesome
later
if that
today.
happens again.
Yeah, that would be so cool. I mean, those are really some of the funnest times I've ever had sitting at this computer.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Does Adam still stream? Actually, I haven't seen him in a while.
I haven't seen that happen in a while.
It's not happening right now, but you never know if, like, I wouldn't say he's permanently not streaming anymore, but I think that streaming is the kind of thing that comes into your life and
and then
out and then in, and depends on the weather a lot, depends on where you're at mentally and what you're trying to do. But those 24-hour streams, I'm so proud of them, and
they were great.
It was wonderful collaboration and very full of hope, very positive, and meaningful to a lot of people, especially me. And I have the whole second stream. Yeah, I have the whole second 24-hour album stream. I have it all unlisted, and well, it's on my Patreon, but but it's like crazy just to see like how boring it actually is, which is I think really helpful for people. It's like it was helpful to see that like there was just a lot of this, this.
Yeah. But still, I mean, you made an entire album in 24 hours. Like that's pretty insane.
Yeah. It's crazy.
For how boring it was, like it was still like incredibly productive, I suppose.
Definitely.
Can Alex Artificial post in the chat what kind of vegan cheese they eat? Because I'm interested, because I might have some dairy issues I'm discovering, kind of experimenting with that right now and need a cheese replacement.
Ben might know, actually.
Yeah, there's some good stuff.
I should have just asked you.
Well, what context of cheese are you interested in? Because
probably just like melty slices.
So the melty slices, they're pretty good these days. So well, I don't remember brand name. VO Life, I think. Let's see, VO Life, vegan alternatives. Let's see. VIOLIFE is like pretty good most of the time. Let me just see, what are their
Alex is saying chow.
Yeah, I've never had chow, but that came up right next to VO Life. But yeah, the VO Life cheddar slices I like. I haven't had chow, but Alex likes it.
Cool. I have
the cheddar
tabs.
slices. So when you see like shredded or mozzarella, these kinds of things, the cheddar slices, they're all really meant to be melted, and that's when their flavors come out in a more flattering way. If you eat like cold cheese that's made from dairy, that usually is a lot better than cold vegan cheese. But when you mix it in like into a context like on a sandwich, for instance, or in pasta, it becomes a good replacement because you get a sufficient textural experience, and the flavors combine really well with other things. But if you were to just do a blind test, here's cheddar and here's vegan cheddar,
right?
Which one do you like better? Just a chunk cold. Yeah, it's not really like that. It doesn't really work like that.
So you mostly use it in other meals, kind of thing. You don't just put on a sandwich or something.
Yeah, well, it goes well on a sandwich. You could use it on a sandwich. If you have like a little hot sauce or lettuce, tomato, onion, you could do like a really good, just like when you're approaching vegan deli meat or vegan cheese, vegan sandwich meat and cheese replacements, they do add up to a great sandwich. They just individually, it's not what they were meant to be. And you can sort of think of it like mixing. It really is like mixing, where some of the sounds aren't so great soloed, but when they add together, they become a really good sound. And that's true for a lot of flavors. in general, but it's especially true for vegan alternative dairies.
Alternative dairies.
Yeah, the Violife cream cheese is I like it, and the Parmesan you can just sprinkle on like Parmesan. So there's that.
Good. Good
There's
information.
Good feta. Yeah.
I look forward to trying something. This is all pretty easy to find.
I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
tried
Grocery
vegan
stores.
cheeses or anything like that. Like a lot of meat replacements, but not like dairy. Replacements.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. There are a lot of people who are lactose intolerant or vegan or those two. So
too French, yes, Quitchman. I'm too French to replace cheese. No, I actually don't eat much cheese, but sure, we'll put it at that. Yeah, I'm too French.
A lot of food is perceptive. Like, in other words, there are dishes that like some people just don't like because they're not used to them.
Right.
Or it's
totally
different
agree.
than their expectations. And like there's in Japanese food, there's these fermented beans that are like super strong. I forgot what they're called, but I had those, and they said that's what, like at the restaurant, they're like, that's what a Japanese grandpa would eat. I'm surprised you're eating that. And they said that in Japanese, and it was translated to me.
Oh, okay.
and I ate it, and I liked it. But it was a really bizarre flavor for me. But it's a normal flavor for, I guess, a certain generation and in that part of the world. And being vegan is a lot like that. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I don't, and that's not just because I want to like prove a point.
Sure, yeah.
My honest experience, regardless of why, is I like pizza. I go get a vegan pizza. I like that. I like hamburgers. I go eat a vegan hamburger. I like that. I like chicken nuggets. I go eat vegan chicken nuggets. I like that. Do I like it less than before? No, I can't remember. My flavor palette has changed, and I like, and you know what? When I make food for people, they eat it and they finish it, even if they're not vegan. So I don't think it's like even bad tasting to other people. It's just you get used to what you're used to. And so
yeah, for sure.
To anyone who's thinking of becoming vegan or vegetarian is worried about like missing out on, all the awesome dishes that are made with animal products, I'll just say, like, it doesn't feel like missing out. And if you do it for a little while, you might find that you learn to appreciate all these new foods, because there's a lot of vegan restaurants and vegan cuisine that's not even made of replacement foods. It's just different recipes.
Yeah.
So you've been listening to a lot of the 24-hour challenge. What else have you guys been listening to lately?
I like that God Country album by, what's that? Everyone's talking about it now. By Chat Pile. They have a song about why do people have to live outside, and it's called Why. And I just think it's an amazing performance, amazing production there.
Chat Pile, as in chads, or as in
like the chat?
The chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pile of chat.
Yeah, and their second song on their new album, God's Country, is real smash you in the face meditation on homelessness.
Okay.
Really good. Really, really good. Nothing clever about it. Just
very in your face, or
it's making you think about it. I mean, it is clever, but like they're not trying to be clever, and I just let people hear it, but it really does a good job of making you think really hard about it, which is hard to achieve.
What about you, Angel?
I've been listening to a lot of my own music.
That's good though.
Yeah, well, it's mostly been because there's a lot of things in the works, and I'm just reviewing them and
Yeah.
everything. There's a band I have been listening to a lot, and I'm not sure how to pronounce their name. But it's Vildhjarta or Arta Vildhjarta.
Okay.
It's like a they're a metal band, but it's absolutely mind blowing.
That's how John says it.
It's kind of like, I guess it's like gent inspired, maybe even post gent. It's really progressive, but it's it's probably not what you're thinking when I say like, progressive gent, because we're thinking of like Old Pliny or something, or
sure.
But they don't have that melodic sense. There's a lot of just creepy intervals and completely disjointed rhythms like Meshuggah, but like glitched.
Very processed.
The vocals are amazing. There's like dual vocals, and the musicianship is out of this world. And it's like one guitar is usually playing something really heavy, and so often the other guitar player is doing some kind of ambient thing, plucking single notes during like a lot of the heaviest parts. So it's really cool.
Cool. I saw you tweet about vaporwave and how you missed the more experimental side of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those things where somebody says, that something is dead, or like whatever happened in this genre, or they refer to it as being out of style, and then lots of people come back with like, you're just not looking hard enough. There's plenty of it. Nobody's necessarily said that to me, but that's kind of how I feel. Like, I'm sure it's still happening. But when I first got into vaporwave, that was just much more common. That dominated, not dominated, but it made up such a larger part of the scene. Just really just more avant-garde type things, like, and I think a lot of it had to do with like, beginners at making music, so they're just learning how to loop things, so the loops are choppy, and they made the art on, without really being a visual artist, so it's kind of like, it's just it's hard to explain, but there was just so much of that at first that was in the forefront, because there wasn't any huge artists yet. It was just kind of a bunch of people scattered around the internet, like doing something.
Yeah, well, exactly. Do you think it also has to do with the fact that, I guess, vaporwave wasn't that established yet as a genre? Like, people didn't really have the example of like, oh, vaporwave is this kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about what it actually is, and some of it's cool and some of it's annoying, but now there's like, front runners, and I think that's great. I'm not unhappy with how it's evolved necessarily. But now you got the big names, George Clinton, Death's Dynamic Shroud.
Right. Yeah.
But, at first it was just kind of like, everybody knew who Macintosh Plus and James Ferraro were, and One Tricks Point Never, but if you would just search like vaporwave albums on the internet, it wasn't just those three coming up. It was all kinds of weird stuff.
I wouldn't even have thought of One Tricks Point Never as vaporwave necessarily.
Well, no, I wouldn't either. But I should have just said his name. He made this album under the, you could say it's a pseudonym or just a moniker, Chuck Person. And it was like Echo Jams Volume 1, and I'm pretty sure he invented that term, Echo Jams. I think that's where everybody gets it. And it was just, slowed down, sampled material, done kind of, artistically, but it was still pretty minimal. It's kind of like a mixtape. And so people credit him as one of the pioneers, along with like Macintosh Plus and
Mm-hmm.
James Ferraro's Far Side Virtual, and a few others.
That's interesting. I actually didn't know about Chuck Person. I mean, I know One O Tricks Point Never's work as like One O Tricks Point Never, but
right, yeah,
no idea. No idea was involved in that.
Yeah, you should look it up. It's cool. It's a nice thing to just put on and jam. It's not like a lot of effects or anything too crazy that he does with it, which is why I like it. I think it was back in the days where people were still just enjoying the new feeling of listening to music like that slowed down.
Yeah.
And just like what kind of like emotional effect it has.
Yeah.
So people weren't real creative with the sampling at that time because we were still just kicked back like, damn, this
amazed by
Kenny
how
G
cool it
song
sounds.
sounds so good, slowed down.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, what are we doing today?
Well, we're here to experience another ending to a fabulous song challenge. Every month, we host a song challenge where we send out a call to the whole community here, asking everyone who wants to write a song. And each month, we also have a prompt or a challenge or a limitation or some sort of guidance on how to write the song. Maybe we're writing the song to an image. Maybe we're writing the song about a certain topic. And this month, the premise was, well, journaling's really good for your creativity. So let's make everyone do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to journal every day for a week. Doesn't have to be for a long time, but just, try to do it.
Yeah.
It could be writing a few sentences or it could be longer. Just open the book and put some dots or words in there. And then at the end of that week, write a song and start using lyrics. And these lyrics will probably be from your journaling. And journaling is interesting as a creative training device, because a lot of the time I think we imagine when we make art that we're crafting something. But ultimately I think art is something that sort of spills out slowly sometimes, but it sort of spills out, and really the craft, we're like crafting ourselves, like our art is crafting us. And so when you spend a week journaling, you open up to all these ideas and are shaped by that process of journaling in such a way that when it's time to write a song, you can just kind of do it. That's how it feels for me, is like I'm able to write a song pretty fast if I've been having a good creative flow, practicing creativity, and letting art do its thing to me.
Yeah.
All for a whole week. So like, my song for this challenge I wrote this morning in about 30 minutes. And that's because, when you practice art the rest of the week, in this case journaling, it can just sort of appear. That doesn't mean recording and mixing it and the production and like that stuff's very crafty, but like making a song happen for me is a very it really feels like I just have to like pull my dam open, or like pull myself open over time, and then it can just kind of happen.
It's also a bit like warming up in a way, or
it's
like
warming up,
ruminating on ideas, I guess.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to describe it, because it makes so much sense, because we warm up for all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And why is creativity any different? It's not. You warm up.
Yeah, absolutely. How long have you been journaling for? Like, is that something you've done for a while now, or?
Yeah, on and off since, probably like 11, 12 years ago. But
oh, wow, yeah.
I've got a lot of journals full of words, and like, yeah, if you go back and look at them, you can find little seeds, and then 7 years later, like they come back, and I probably forgot that I even like thought of them before, but then that ends up being,
I assume you
some
keep them all. You
song.
have all your old notebooks and all that.
Yeah, yep. Like the latest notebook I've been so slow with it. I think I've had it for the whole pandemic.
Okay.
But
that's interesting to have it all together in one single book.
Right.
Especially for such a weird period like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Journaling slow. Yeah. Dog eats being funny. Yeah, so
Angel,
that's
sorry,
thing.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
What about Angel? Angel, do you journal much?
I try to journal, and it's hard for me to commit to that. But then I realized I do journal in a way because I have note files on my phone, which doesn't feel like journaling, but I contribute to them often. But it's usually me kind of jotting down like spur of the moment, like poetry, and basically with the purpose of sourcing song lyrics from it later. Sorry, I'm looking down because I'm painting my nails right now. So that's what I used for the song I sent. And I was actually going to use them as lyrics, but then I couldn't get that part to sound good in enough time, so I just ended up muting them. So at least the music is inspired by what I was writing down, and it might be, well, I don't know. I don't really surprise people anymore, but it might not be something you would think I would do for this. I guess I don't know. I was just in the moment, getting pretty with it.
But would you say it's under the Fire-Toolz name or under Angel Marcloid?
Well, at this point, like there's just no thing that can't be Fire-Toolz.
Okay.
And I actually have a couple other songs like the one you're gonna hear.
Yeah.
Very similar in style that I'm just singing in, and those will be Fire-Toolz. Anything could be at this point, really. I could just a field recording of my backyard or something. I'm just using it as like a radically diverse to the point where it just.
It sounds incredibly freeing. Like normally people really have to like stick to a genre because that's expected, I guess, of them because of what they established.
I did that for so long, and I don't. I'm fine with doing it as long as that's not my only endeavor. Like I could never. Well, I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but I don't think I could ever stop having a project where I could just make something like any sound. But I don't mind also having other projects, side projects that do stick to a sound, and I already kind of do. So
you said you don't surprise people anymore.
Well, yeah, because I was just thinking like the nature of the song, when people be like, this isn't what I would think Fire-Toolz to be. But now on the other hand, like I guess after Eternal Home, there's really probably no. I mean surprise as far as like, oh, Angel's doing this kind of music now.
Do you,
I don't.
Sorry.
No, please.
Did you expect people to be surprised, like by something recently, and then they weren't?
No, not necessarily. People act not surprised as in, oh, I didn't know like Angel could make this, but more like surprised, like they're taken aback by it because they like it, I guess. I get reactions regularly that people are just kind of like really impacted by it when it comes out, even though they've heard all the other ones. Like One More Album from me it doesn't seem to come off to people like, yep, this is Angel. It's more just like whoa, what is she gonna do next kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this might sound like bragging, but really I'm just like incredibly grateful. So I'm just kind of talking about like how cool that is.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
You can feel free to be as vague as you want, or just kind of pass on this question. But since you've been on Needle Drop and Pitchfork and all these like holy grail of people dropping like $6,000 to $10,000 on a publicist to get into those people's inboxes, like, have you basically, has it opened up a lot of doors?
Yeah, it's opened up some. It's been great. I mean, I haven't gotten any just like huge opportunities. Like I'm not being asked to like be on SNL, or I'm not getting offers from huge labels or anything like that. Not getting offers from anyone actually. But I mean like label offers, but I've met a lot of great people, and I really one of the things that's really exciting is that, and I again I'm not trying to brag, but it's like when kind of like more well-known musicians who are bombarded with music all the time, and people always trying to get their attention and things like that, when artists like that like reach out to me or show some kind of interest in me, it's just really cool. Like there have been people that are in bands or that make music that I've really liked for a long time, and then I see that they start following me on Instagram or something, or they retweet something, and it's just like, whoa. Like I thought that I would be the one saying, hey, I love your music, but they're showing that gesture toward me, and it's really it's kind of surreal. And maybe there's some unhealthy level of like starstruckness I'm feeling, which I feel uncomfortable with the idea of, because these are they're just people, and and we're all the same in that way. I don't think there's any kind of, I don't think that they deserve like any additional respect that you would give a normal human, nor do I think that they are more deserving of criticism if they do something that's unwise. I mean, so I don't know. I don't There's some psychology behind the whole starstruck thing that I'm interested in learning about. But if I'm just present with how I feel right now, it's just really awesome to have like Chris Walla from Death Cab like buying my records and complimenting me directly. I'm just like, I like grew up listening to your early albums, and Fire-Toolz sounds absolutely nothing like them. So it's just, I don't know. It's just really, really cool.
You influenced Big Thief.
I did?
You're on their playlist of
Oh,
rad stuff that they like.
wow,
Really?
that's really cool. Do you know what song it is?
I'll get, or actually I'm not on Spotify anymore, but
that's okay. I can look it up.
Yeah, it's one of their playlists on there.
That's awesome.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Like,
for sure,
a band that, a lot of why I think that band is so special is because of, like, in my mind, it's like, of course they like Angel's music. Like it does make sense. It doesn't necessarily come out the same way as Angel's music does, but like some of the textural choices and the way that the music kind of has an atmosphere to it comes from an appreciation of a very rich appreciation, like I guess sense of noise. Like, how the praying mantis shrimp can see the most colors. It's like Angel can see the most colors in noise of anyone I've met, and so like I could see that being similar to them. Like they have a real good, they can see those colors in like guitar folky noisiness.
So I found the song. It's Interbeing.
Oh, cool! Wow, that's cool. It's kind of an older one. It was a single, but it's really cool that they chose that one, and that means they're probably more familiar with my discography and not going straight off of the most recent.
The newest, hottest
Yeah,
track.
Couple
this
of
is an old
singles.
playlist. This playlist has been around for a while.
Right.
They probably switch songs in and out though, right?
That's true. It's
Yeah.
been there
Yeah.
the whole time.
Wow.
We like that playlist.
Wow,
That's
that's
awesome.
really cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff on there I don't know either. That's a good way to discover some new
Hello.
stuff. Nice.
I have to say, like, in the name of being my true self and being transparent about my emotions and not being a bad role model to the people that pay attention or care about me, I have to say a thing that happened right before the stream started that I've been thinking about, that I know I can stop thinking about if I just mention it and talk about it for a second.
Okay.
But when I didn't know where Jessica and Hineni were. Hineni's my dog. If I just got him in February, maybe we'll post a picture of him at some point. But
I think you should post a picture at some point at least. Like, it's about time.
I might mention him. But we have this training thing where we play with him in the backyard, and then we put the leash on him and walk him around the front yard so he can see the world, like some of the things that scare him, but then go right back to play mode. And it's this back and forth kind of nice thing. And today Jessica was doing it, and he was really hot, so he wasn't listening as well. And then our neighbor, who, usually this doesn't happen, but a neighbor of ours walked straight up to us, and he is very sensitive to strangers when they surprise him. And I could tell there was like a chance that he would lunge at the neighbor, and if the neighbor wasn't aware that there was a risk to that, like maybe would get scratched or he'd pull at her shirt.
Yeah.
He's never like bit anyone, but he does rip clothes when he's very excited and doesn't know what to do with his emotions. And so I had to pull him away, which I almost never pull him because there's all kinds of reasons why you don't actually have to, and there's there's a lot very deep. I could talk about it for a really long time anytime if someone wants to know about it. Training method that has pretty much zero pulling until like extreme emergencies. But this was an extreme emergency, but his collar was too loose and it choked him. He was very uncomfortable for a second, and I felt bad because I was like, maybe I just made his association with strangers worse. And then I gave him a bunch of treats, and he listened, and he went in the backyard, and Jessica played with him more, and that was nice. But I felt so bad that I like did that. But also in the moment, I think that was the safest thing for everyone was to just get out of the situation, because the other, like, two other things could have happened. One is he really likes this stranger and jumps on them and they get scratched a little, but then it's like really sweet. The other thing that happens is some undesirable result, which would be a range of really bad to not so bad, but like definitely uncomfortable.
Everything from a ripped shirt to a ripped limb.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, or like a misunderstood like chomp, that is read as like a aggressive bite.
Right.
Yeah. And so I know I did, and this is something that my therapist is helping me with, is that I know given that moment, I did the thing that made the most sense with the best intentions, and I didn't have any more information than that. And I don't, and like, what bad thing did happen, but you don't know what bad thing you just prevented. You don't know like the bad thing that didn't happen. And a lot of the best choices I've probably ever made were by choosing not to do something, or to choose something to do that would prevent something, yet I have no idea what all those would have been. So all I can do is judge my actions and be like, darn, I did this bad thing. But you never know, like, all the amazing choices you make that have some bad aspect, but they were actually the ultimate, like voting for Hillary, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where it's like you did something that you're just sitting with your like, ugh, I voted, but then like Trump wins and you're like, fuck, I'm glad I didn't help with you know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah,
have to get
yeah,
political, but like at this point, I don't know
yeah.
very
That's
many people
fine.
who are like, yeah, I would never vote for, I would never do any, yeah, whatever. Who cares about voting talk? We got dogs on our mind. And yeah, so I had to say that I didn't have to say that. I chose to say that because I want to be real, and it makes you feel better.
Absolutely.
I completely agree with that. I love the, doing the best thing you knew how to do at the time based on the information you had. It's really that is the key to self-compassion, because with that view you can still acknowledge any harm that might have come out of it, but that doesn't invalidate the good, and the good doesn't invalidate the bad, and people often choose one when they judge an action, like they were trying to, I don't know, I don't feel like trying to think of an example, but you know what I mean. It's both. When you acknowledge all the different angles, self-compassion is so much easier to access.
And we need that. We need self-compassion. It all starts at home. And that's been like a big in the journaling, that's been a big theme, actually, to bring it back to that. I have never been as vulnerable now as I was. This is the most vulnerable I've been right now since high school. It's something I figured out because after high school, I was able to surround myself with artists and musicians who see me. They see me for being very interested in and good at creative stuff.
Right.
So I can walk around with a certain sense of like, I'm in a space where what I care about aligns with what other people care about, and I fit in, and that can help you, like, that can give you enough strength that like your other personality cracks and like your other weaknesses don't consume you. But since I started basically becoming a professional dog trainer who doesn't work, but like that's the amount I'm learning about helping my dog be happier and more comfortable in the world. Like I'm spending more time on that than music. And the rest of my time I'm spending teaching and like making videos for other people. So I'm not even making any public work. So I'm not getting very much public validation. I'm doing what I need for the finances and what I need for my doggy. That puts me in a position where the only way I can feel seen is if I surround myself with people who acknowledge and value my doggy work. Which, because most of the people who experience or observe my doggy work are people who see us on walks, and to those people, they may or may not be very confused by my doggy work because the way we train our dog is unconventional. It's
right. Yeah.
something you have to really know the like in crowd of like dog behaviorists to even think to do what we are doing, which isn't even a brag. It's just like true. Like the stuff we're learning is what the people who work at like shelters with a high volume of dogs are learning, like how to get them to chill. But I'm not in an environment where those particular interests and skills I have are appreciated necessarily. I can't be sure what people think, but it doesn't necessarily feel that way. It makes me very vulnerable, like I was in high school again, where most people did not appreciate how much I was working on music at home and how deep my love and like an excitement about the future was. Like, to people in high school, I was this like sixth grader who's still around now in 10th grade. Like I'm the same prepubescent kid straight out of Jewish elementary school who had never like spent any time with non-Jews and like was like super, sixth gradery. I'm still that guy in 12th grade, in high school. Like I'm more that than my new identity as like this music person. But then, yeah, in college and beyond, I'm music guy, and in a space like this, I'm here. The premise here is like people. It's assumed that people care what I think about their song, and like that. I've been sitting on that level of like in assumed credibility for so long that being in a place where I just feel kind of like a weirdo, it really has been different in my journal.
Yeah, that's a hell of a experience, hell of a switch, I suppose, of like situations. Lots to learn. But that's also exciting though. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah. John, I think, is that John Sybil? That John?
Yeah.
Yeah, John Sybil's like, you got to know your Zach George. It's like, I'm learning from the people Zach George is learning from. Like it goes so. It's cool stuff. Look up behavioral adjustment training sometime. It's like the acronym is BAT. If you're interested in dog training and learn about BAT training and learn about Control Unleashed by Leslie Devitt. Yeah, Leslie McDevitt. Learn about this shit. This is like how you train a dog without telling them to do anything. Pretty cool.
I like that.
Yeah, I bet you do that with your cats without even thinking of it as that.
Oh, that's true. And because they learn things. If I do them repeatedly, they learn what the things I'm doing will get them and how they will affect them.
Yeah.
But they train me. They train me more than I train them for sure. Because I'm a pushover with them. So, when Suki comes up to me and reaches up and kind of puts his claws in my in whatever pants I'm wearing and pulls at me when I'm making coffee in the kitchen, I know what he's asking for. He wants me to sprinkle this dried raw food flakes or whatever on his food, and I say okay, and I do what he asks. And some might say that's like spoiling them, or like, oh, now he thinks every time you make coffee you're going to do that. And well, maybe it does mean that he wants it and it's not hurting him and he's asking for it. It is food, but it's just like he's like, hey, can I have the thing? So yeah, sure, dude.
There's another side to that though, which is you're showing him that you are available to be communicated with, which makes him could make him, because you never know what they're thinking, but you could potentially make him feel like he doesn't have to do as extreme behaviors to get what he wants.
That's
because you are open to be talked to. So if it's not a big deal, it's something you can easily give him, then there are other things that you won't give him that are a big deal, like maybe running outside. I don't know, I'm just making something up. And then you not giving that, it's understood that you maybe did know what he wanted, and that him not getting it is just because, that's how it goes. Sometimes you don't get it.
Yeah.
And that's like a lot of what it is, like what that's exactly like. It's not just training. It's making it apparent to your dependents that you are safe, like that they are safe, that the world is safe. And so if all they have to do is just touch your leg, because that's what it is. He doesn't think he's like scratching you, but just like to touch your leg in a way that gets your attention. If that's all he needs to do to get what he thinks he needs or wants, that's very different than dogs who learn that the way they can get what they want is to bark like mad. like to growl or to bite. Like if a dog wants you to go away and you're good at listening to your dog, all they have to do is lip their licks, look up at you, yawn, and then you're like, oh, okay, not right now. And then the way they tell you they don't want you around is this really peaceful, like, ooh, I'm not in the mood, like face thing they do. And people who consistently like get into their dog's personal space and bug them, there's more of a risk, if the dog's not into that, because maybe they are, but like there's more of a risk that they'll use other ways of telling you not to that are less acceptable to humans, like growling or snapping, you know. But I could say I really love talking about this stuff, but I will never stop talking about this stuff. And I
should I interrupt you?
Yeah, I can understand if it was maybe better for us to move in another direction.
I love this discussion, but don't we have like 300 songs to listen to?
Let's get into
I'm gonna
songs.
have to get up and make coffee at some point, you know.
Okay, so let's get into some of their songs, and we'll throw yours in between. How about that? And of course, it's not a song challenge without doggy talk. We got to catch up about Hineni a little bit.
Yeah, we need doggy talk, and we
so much to say.
That's part of the package deal here.
Yeah. We also have to drive it into emotional and mental health type stuff too. Yeah, we got to go there.
All of us.
Yeah,
helpful to talk about that. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like I don't know how to not go there.
Yeah, it's one of your strengths.
Yeah. Shall we listen to Alex's song? It's called Work From Home, version 4. And
that sounds like that's a lot of iterations. Good job, Alex.
Am I going to hear it on Zoom, or do I got to go to the stream?
Oh, you should be able to hear it on Zoom. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
sweet.
Also, I think, Hugo, are you routing it through Zoom or no?
Just all my audio is going through Zoom.
Okay. There's a way to do like stereo audio on Zoom now, but I think maybe it won't work the way, because you're routing through a mixer.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah.
So never mind.
Okay. So you will. Oh yeah.
It'll be in mono, but for us.
Okay. Even if I click on the original audio thing.
Oh. Yeah.
There's also a stereo setting. Yeah, under original
in the share.
Sound.
Yeah, original sound with stereo. Is that it? Yeah, I try that. That might be great. Yeah,
okay, original sound
stereo?
Should be on.
Oh, yeah, you just went to the left for me. Very, very good. I don't mind you being over there.
Can we hear a second of music and see if it's just on the left? Awesome.
Yes.
Is it stereo?
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's stereo.
Okay, perfect.
Hella stereo.
Stereo.
That sounds
stereo
good.
So much.
You're gonna like Alex's work, I guarantee it.
I mastered something.
Oh, nice.
Of Alex's once.
Oh, cool.
So I'm already aware it kicks in.
LMNOP.
All right, here it comes. Enjoy Alex's tune, Work From Home. I think the processing sounds cool. Catchy melodies.
Yeah. I like the texture things here. Cool.
Nice.
Yay.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I really loved
Very hooky.
the 16th note guitar melodies on the right side and the 8th note ones on the left. It was a really cool effect.
That's the only thing I hated. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that was great. And yeah, I like the way that you did all the different like breakdown fill moments. How they weren't always like big. Sometimes you you degraded the quality of them sort of in a cool way, where like the guitar got like kind of cloudy and dark and like sounded like it was in a box or something for a moment, and it's cool like jumping around with the space.
The way it was processed reminded me a little bit of Mindless Self-Indulgence, which is a sound I haven't heard in a long time, and I dig it a lot. It's thick.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you hear it too?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of some of the like sort of like the 8-bit guitar pop kind of stuff, except it didn't have a lot of like 8-bit or like chiptune elements to it, but it's like it's almost like the genre was akin to the way a lot of that stuff sounds.
Yeah.
A little bit like oh gosh, I'm forgetting his name. I don't even know if he's here. Who's the I mastered his album a long time ago, and now I'm not remembering his name. Mr. Person, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like if you took like one of the crazier Mr. Person songs and like switched out the chiptune synth for other ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A bit more progressive though, with the little breaks and weird textures and stuff, which was a really good touch.
Yeah. Always enjoy the way the grooves work in Alex's music, and I really love Alex's voice every time.
Yeah, a lot of cool vocal stuff in that song. Okay, he wants to know if there's anything he can do to make it better. Get better at compression.
I thought some of the vocals were sometimes a little bit hard to hear, like to actually make out the words that you were singing.
I guess that kind of depends on if that's a goal of Alex's.
That's true.
I kind of don't care about that a lot of the time.
No.
With a lot of the music I make but it's the nature of the music. Alex's music, it would definitely be more possible for more clarity in the vocals, just because of the kind of music it is and everything.
Yeah.
When you say get better at compression, what would be the first step you'd take to get better at compression?
It's kind of hard. There's some like ear training stuff you can do. But I think that Alex understands compression a large amount. The thing that I was thinking about specifically was the distorted guitars. I couldn't quite tell if it was like master bus compression or compression on the guitars. It seemed to be not even necessarily that there was too much, but that maybe the attack and release and ratio settings might need to be maybe a lower ratio or maybe longer release or attack. I'm not really sure, just because they seem kind of like jittery, and it's that jittery sound with compression that sometimes is undesirable. Sometimes it's cool, but it might have also been the master bus. I couldn't quite tell. As soon as I started to notice it, I was like, what is that? I like really heavy compression. I like super loud stuff. I like when all the dynamics are sucked out of things. I think it's a great sound, but it can be difficult to do because certain kinds of audio material are just going to be harder to work with when you're trying to do that super loud sound. And I think distorted guitars are one of those things. So.
One thing, one of the few things I have to say about compression that can be helpful maybe in the achieving of the better guitar compression is generally the transients, like the big peak at the beginning of a note, those are like this, and then there's a tail, which is, so if I go ka, the ha is the tail and the ka is the transient, so like the waveform looks like zoop. And when you compress something, you make all of that stuff more similar. So the transient isn't as pronounced because the tail and the transient are closer together in a sense, and there's not as much contrast between them. So when you make the attack of the compressor a little later, it doesn't compress the attack, doesn't smush it. It just smushes the rest. And so maybe the attack settings, when you're talking about rhythmic compression, the attack setting can really be a big influence on the groove. Same with the release. But that's just something that all our compression learners out there can think about, is how does it change the way that the transients hit?
Mm-hmm. Well, when you're using that heavy distortion tone, the transients are a lot softer. But like I was just telling Bruno in the chat, compression before this distortion can have a pretty big effect on, how the notes sustain. And even though it's being heavily distorted, you can still tell a difference in the transient impact of your compression settings. I usually don't compress distorted guitar all that much, maybe just a few dB, nothing that you can really hear too much because they're already compressed so much, like the higher gain setting you use.
Right.
But going in, I often, well, depending on the material, if I'm doing something really like attacky or staccato, like I'll be more careful with it. But when I'm doing guitar solos, I like a lot of sustain, and I don't crank things up in my studio very high when I record, so I don't get a lot of feedback out of my monitors. So I usually make the sustain on the signal going in like pretty intense, so that notes sound really smooth as they're held out.
It's an interesting,
cool. That's an interesting idea.
Concept. Yeah. The idea of compressing before distortion. It's very like amp emulator friendly, and that like amp emulators are so good now that just that level of flexibility alone right there, and being able to do that is I think like a good reason why anyone who hasn't tried them really should try it. Not just getting your tone and then going in and miking it and all that, or like going out of your pedals into your computer, but just going in dry and using amp emulation so that you can try some signal chain stuff and move things around quickly, and you can learn a lot.
Yeah. And Dante also says the Neural DSP Petrucci plugin has a compressor before the preamp, for what it's worth. I think most of them do even. I used the Nolly one. I'm pretty sure it's before.
Yeah, I use the Nolly one too.
The amp. The preamp.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably add it before and after, because there's.
Oh, could you? Could you like move it around?
I think well, I don't know if you can move it around. I just think that, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I thought there was a way to add things to the before it goes in. Preamp.
Might be.
But I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. Cool track, Alex. Nice. Looking forward to what you do next. We have a track from Sumika called It's Over. And I think there was an extra challenge in that she did it in one take. So let's hear it. Also, there's a performance video in the Discord you can check out. There's a link to our Discord in the description.
Myself, shielding my face from the spotlight. Open my eyes to what I was missing. It's easy to convince yourself you don't deserve a heart's will. I fall into my own ways. You're always there to pick me up. I realize I'm free to fly, but I'm standing in my own way. And I can do this on my own. I'm strong enough. And I can do this on my own. it's over. Fall asleep another night alone. I'm struggling to dream. Keep me afloat. And I can do this on my own. I'm strong enough. And I can do this on my own. It's over. I settle for I settle for I settle for it's enough, and I can do this on my own. I'm strong enough that I can do this on my own. It's over. I'm strong enough. I'm strong enough. It's over. I'm strong enough. I'm strong enough, and it's over. Oh, it's over.
Wow.
All right.
Great job holding it down
Yeah.
rhythmically
Mm-hmm.
for the whole take. The rhythm was so solid. I think that's pretty hard to do
Mm.
when you're doing like a songwriter thing with all those dynamics. Like you got so much bigger at the end and like had all that intensity building, and yet you didn't speed up like in a bad way. Maybe you did, but like the groove felt great the whole time. It's
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
Solid.
hardest things to do with a one take.
Yeah, I really liked the vocals because they had a lot of personality and you could really feel what was being expressed, but it wasn't exaggerated to where it felt contrived. And there was a lot of singers doing like a similar style. And I could be wrong about this, but it sounds to me like they're kind of like really trying really hard to like have a very expressive way of singing with a lot of personality, and I think that's cool. But sometimes it just sounds kind of like there's too much of it or something. Like it's not natural. It doesn't sound natural, and that really sounded natural. Like there might be different vocal techniques that were practiced and worked on and stuff, but it just doesn't sound like anybody's trying too hard. It just sounds, I don't know. It sounds raw, but it's, done really well. And yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was nice to hear such an intimate performance from Hams instead of a very produced piece, because that's what we usually hear from Sumika. So it was very nice to hear vocals that were so naked and, like you said, raw. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought of a guitar idea, which is in the last chorus. There's like a guitar, then break, and it's like na 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 na. I think that's what's happening. Is it's like dum da 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 dum da 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 da. Where like the guitar breaks and then the da 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 for some more intensity. If you were like doing this on a stage, standing up, like I think the arrangement now is good for most settings, but if you had to like fight the crowd, like let's say there's some talking at the bar or whatever and you're playing this solo, you can do octaves da 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 on the guitar, doubling your melody there, and play them really hard. And then that's just like one of the I don't know if y'all think about this a lot, but like thinking of changing your solo guitar voice or like one, you know, solo performance music to function in a noisy bar.
It's interesting.
But I've only just learned to play an F. um, you're definitely good enough at guitar to do this thing. But it's just to double da 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 na na, with octaves, and it's a little detail, but it will make the ending maybe bigger, maybe. But it's just a thought. One other thing though is for all the people who want to do solo guitar voice music, and want to do a good job like Sumika, one thing that you want to think about is, first of all, practice it with a drum track or a metronome.
Yeah.
Even though you're not going to have drums, because you need to like practice steady tempo with an objective source in order to know if you have steady tempo. And steady tempo is really the trust between you and the audience that they don't have to think about the guitar and they can just listen to your voice, which is pretty much what you want. You want them to feel the story and not feel your nerves or your like. You don't want them thinking about how well it's going. You want them just experiencing the song. And so if you want to do a good job like that, practice with a click or a drum track, even though it's not going to have drums. And then another suggestion for people who want to do performances like that is to have a finger picked option for verses that are quieter. Have that in your your tricks box or whatever. Be able to do some finger picking, because then you can get some really cool dynamics going from the finger picking to the hard strumming. But then also have a version where you don't finger pick in case your hands are too cold or you're too nervous, because then finger picking really sucks. If you're like stiff when you're strumming, then you switch to finger picking, it sucks. The only time that finger picking and strumming together works is when you're relaxed. So it's good to be prepared for that. That's like extra advanced self-accompaniment, is like when your finger picking parts and your strumming parts can coexist without you having to play like too hard and getting too stiff. But those are just two things to keep in mind that you can work on to get great at that sort of stuff.
It's a good suggestion, yeah.
Thanks. Just trying to give everybody some of my mistakes, don't have to do them thoughts. God bless.
I was wondering for lyrics, because we should probably talk about that a bit more today. Just in general for people, something that might be interesting, but also for this track, have you tried using some more like sense-bound imagery when you are writing your lyrics? For example, you can write something in a very abstract way that, of course, everyone can identify with the idea of, oh, I'm sad kind of thing. But if you actually use a moment in which you were sad, where you kind of describe a scene or set up a scene, that tends to make that emotion way more relatable than just telling people that you're sad for some reason. So I think using like your senses more, like a situation you can see, hear, or smell, or whatever that has to do with your senses, right? I think it's worth experimenting with that and kind of see how that changes the feel of your lyrics, because I think sense-bound language like that, that's very concrete, ironically actually makes the emotion more relatable to your audience than the abstracted version of it.
And it's interesting how little of that you need to go a very long way. Like just introducing one extra sense into a moment really grounds it. So like if you say something like your eyes are beautiful, people might kind of glaze over that line, be like, okay, it's admiration, sure.
Yeah.
But if you say like if you have a verse before that where you describe your dad's eyes as like dark pools, and all you can see is your reflection distorted in the curve, and how you hate the part of yourself that's like him. And in the next verse you say, but you like talking to this love, your love, saying like, I looked at you and I saw the ocean and all the things that were possible. And the implication is like one's a dark pool pulling you back into your past, but now this other one is like a bounty of like possibility. And it's just one thing of describing the appearance of the eyes instead of with an actual like substance, rather than just saying they're beautiful. And that we can really tell a lot more story.
That's a really good example. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll write it down.
My next lyrics.
Deet, deet, deet.
Cool. Yeah. Let's listen to Belfrog's song. It is called Self-Sabotage. That sounds like this.
Self-sabotaging every day, because I am afraid of what they would think about me, afraid that I am the last thing they need. Don't want their perceptions to change, just keep thinking of me the same way. Self-sabotage is what I do the best. Self-sabotage ruins all that I am.
Nice, very cool interplay between the guitar and vocals.
Yeah.
It's lovely. Yeah.
Really catchy.
Mm-hmm.
I really so I have these thoughts about panned out vocals, like when they're doubled and they're all the way out. Now, in music that's busier and more dense and frequency rich, full band stuff, I really don't prefer when they're panned out like that, except for effect or harmonies, because they can just kind of get blurred out. And if vocals are something that are really important to you, and you're doing like a lead vocal type performance, I think that having stereo effects is great, but having the main vocals kind of panned closer to the center is a much better idea most of the time. However, that's not what I'm gonna say about this because it's just guitar music and it's you know, very minimal in its palette. And when you're doing something like that, you can really get crazy with the vocal panning. Your harmonies and doubles and stereo image in the vocals are really creating a really nice texture. It's almost like listening to like an organ or something, you know. So I think that's really cool. I don't normally think to do stuff like that in more minimal sections of my music because I'm kind of usually thinking like lead vocals are centerish. I want to utilize this more wherein it's, you know, the frequency content is more minimal. You can really get away with doing lead vocals in a way like you've mixed them. And I just want to say one more thing. I relate to a lot of the lyrics, and I really love how matter of fact they all were. It was powerful and vulnerable and uncomfortable. It's just too too real. And that paired with it just being guitars and vocals just made it even more, you know, it's like you're at a bar and someone's sitting on a stool playing guitar, but like what they're singing is just like so powerful and real that you're just like you can't just relax and like order your beer and talk to your friends. It can't be background music because it's like there's someone in the corner singing with a guitar, but it's like they're spitting truth, so it's just kind of like like what is being sung here, like and I mean that's all a compliment. So
it's a really cool thing that you said, Angel.
Thanks. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget.
Yeah, because I've seen that like be so. It's an important thing that comes up a lot is what works when there's this much stuff, 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 and how you can be like, I want the most heavy thing, and different, you'll get like there's different paths to heavy. If you have this much stuff, heavy might mean like fewer things of all those things doing different things, like more of them just doing the same thing, because there's so many things. But when you have like two things, heaviness might come from them doing opposite things that are like one's going like ding 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 while the other one's like boom 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 and like boom 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 boom, and you get the boom 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 ding ding, you get the ding ding, you get the, and that can be really heavy when there's just two things. But if you had like five things doing those kinds of interplaying rhythms, then it sucks. And it's so interesting to think about how that applies to panning.
Yeah. Like if that was a loud rock song with like, you know, doubled or quadrupled like rhythm guitars panned all the way out, and, you know, a drum set with a great stereo image, you know, the toms here and there, different cymbals, different places, and you put that vocal mix over it and tried to make it so it was prominent so everybody could hear all the words and how good they are, it would be really hard to mix. It really would. I mean, if you insisted on panning the vocals like that in a loud, dense rock song, I'd probably want to like bring the guitars in, which I wouldn't normally do, or something, because it would just be really hard.
Oh yeah, that'd be a cool mix though. Like you have all the guitars in the center and then the vocals on the side.
That would be so weird.
Be interesting.
Yeah.
And I've done that before in like little pieces of a song, like for effect, but you know, I would never think to try that for a whole song. And that's kind of the crappy thing that like mixing for a living has done to me. I mean, you got to be really careful not to fall into these principles, like doing things just based on principle. Like, yeah, typically you want your kick in the middle and your snare in the middle and your lead vocals in the middle, but with some stereo image, and then you want, you know, your
like routine decisions
doubled and panned out and all that kind of stuff. I gotta watch myself with that, because sometimes just doing the wrong thing is awesome.
Yeah, I think there's a tendency to make all of production's balanced. Like there's an equal amount of stuff on the left and the right and the center, and it's always,
definitely.
But like it's interesting to listen to like there's a very specific example in my mind right now. The Radiohead song 15 Step, where it's the groove and then the guitar comes in just on the left and it's just there. It's not like doubled. It's just a normal dry tone on the left for a while.
Yep.
You would think there'd be something on the right, and it's just there for a while, and that's
and that has an effect. That's like doing something emotionally and maybe even physiologically if you're using headphones, that it was an effect that's probably intended, and it probably does sound awkward to people, and that's one of the cool things about it, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Cool.
Next.
Also want to say,
move along.
I think you're like the first verse was very strong, specifically because of what I just talked about with like concrete language. And I think you captured that really well in that first verse.
Yeah.
With the overeating
really
line,
that
was like really good. Yeah.
And it wasn't so matter of fact that it was just kind of like annoying. Like it didn't sound like you were just like talking to your friend, like confiding in your friend, sitting on the couch together and like telling them like how you've been doing. It was still like very lyricsy and like formatted well for the song with good syllable rhythms and stuff like that. But at the same time, it was just like hardly any metaphor at all. And I mean that's I can't write
hard truth
like you do. So I admire your ability to do that without it sounding stupid.
Yeah, that's a fun contrast between the adding more sensory language, adding more metaphor, adding more like abstraction from how you would just talk. That can be great, and then also just talking can be great. Having lyrics like, I'm sad that it's raining. I really wanted to go out and play. It's another birthday washed away. You know, that could be good lyrics. Just, you know, like, even though it's, you know, it's just normal talking, basically.
Sure. Yeah. Cool.
But that's the thing about lyrics is that all we can give you is ideas, and what makes you good is repetitions of experiencing your ideas reflected in your listeners' experience. Like you just watch them listen, and that's how you get better. And you can also get better from journaling.
This is true. Speaking of journaling, let's listen to what Nyaitupi did with it. With
cool.
A track called Shadows Behind the Sun. I don't think we've heard Nyai sing very much also. It's exciting.
Little moon sitting behind the sun, they so easily shade and sink under that pull. Shadows of shade, invisible stories of dreaming and dreaming that there is a dream argument down below, they never show what goes on behind the sun.
Yeah, Nyaya has a great voice. I agree. Nice tone.
Can it change itself into a person with words? Or has it already done so? Person changed by words doesn't give a fuck while arguing with the dream argument. The words keep convincing the shadows to stay behind, and there are no leaves left. There are no leaves left. Shadows themselves don't pray. Words keep convincing the shadows to stay behind. There are no leaves left.
All right. Very poetic entry. I like it. Nice, Nyai. Well done.
Yeah, really cool lyrics. It did really feel like a meditative process led to the lyrics.
Mm.
I don't know what the lyric writing process was like for you. I'm guessing it has something to do with journaling, I'm hoping, but
If
it
not,
seemed
you're
like
disqualified.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Banned.
this is our new cancel culture opportunity that we thought of, where we
I
can
love when I get those opportunities.
Yeah, my newest
Absolutely.
cancel culture opportunity is you all in the chat. But I'll
A beautiful
dishing
night it
out
will be.
scores at the end of the night. Yeah. But currently, Night 2P, yes, you are uncanceled because I felt that you were doing a really good job of like introspecting and being like mysterious and evocative in your lyrics and the way that they worked with the melody and the vocal processing. The guitar stuff was all in a different key from the keyboards, and because the vocals were so clearly in the key and so confidently like tonal, it made it that you could trust the guitar playing was supposed to be like a bit disturbing. Now, if it wasn't supposed to be disturbing, I'll just tell you that was the result. From my perspective, you went from a like very dark ocean kind of holding you to like a liminal space that where you didn't know what you were seeing. So if you didn't mean to play the guitar in a different key, check that out.
I thought that was a great contrast, though. I love how he connected the very like poetic vocals with that, with his usual improvisational style. To me, it was a nice blend. Like it worked really well.
Well, there you go. It was on purpose too. So
yeah,
congrats.
I really loved. I just loved how screwed up the lead guitar sounded against the rest, the somberness and the repetitiveness. Like it just creates like such a cool atmosphere where it's just like something's something's wrong in this world where everything is, put together. Like the piano chords and the singing all being on key and, not really fluctuating in dynamics like a whole lot. And then just also having that nasty guitar in there with it, it's just like it's too real. It's like that's life. It's like like it's like sitting in your living room where everything is familiar and where it's supposed to be, but there's like a there's a cat toy that's on that's broken and it's really loud and it keeps like clicking, and your cat is playing with it, and it's just like this thing that's like happening that's just like but everything else is like settled, and just having those two things at the same time is just, it feels more like reality than some carefully crafted song. I mean, we make songs to have a particular atmosphere, and this song is more just like real life to me because of the weird guitar. And I also want to say it was interesting how the piano was more pan to the right, and the reason that didn't bother me at all is because the pads that were panning back and forth were like keeping the left side feeling relatively balanced. So it's like I kept hearing the piano over here, and the principle in my head was like, that's weird, put it more toward the center. But then I shut that off and just listened and felt the music, and it was fine. It felt very balanced. It just felt like I was in a room and the piano is just over here a little bit, but you're singing in the center. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it didn't stick out much to me either.
No, definitely not. I mean, it did a little bit, but like not in a bad way. It wasn't like awkward like the way it would feel if you panned your whole drum kit to the left or something.
Right. Your bass.
Hey Ben, what you doing?
Oh, I'm just setting up for a more relaxing sit.
For doggy time?
Good.
Yeah, I'm just leaving the option open if he wants to come over here. But I think this is a good feeling for my butt. And that's the nice thing about cameras is they see me from all kinds of angles. And luckily, nothing's showing.
Very good.
Not wearing
very good
a skirt today. It's convenient.
Hey, maybe Caitlin. Yes, we are live. Coming at you live.
This is live.
Shall we listen to Angel's track?
Oh yeah.
You could.
We sure could.
But you don't have to.
I definitely want
Let's
to.
turn that could into a would, or a did, or whatever. Let's
Coulda,
watch
woulda, coulda.
With our here.
It's called New Age Emo. No key changes allowed in full caps.
I mean, that's just what I named the file. I didn't even think of a name, but that works.
That's the
Maybe
name
I should
now.
call it that.
Including .wav. That's part of the name.
Right.
Wav.
Every song title should be named after its genre combos,
Mm-hmm.
and then one note about the music.
Yep. I
Sounds
agree.
good to me.
Yeah, those guitars sound nice.
So nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Such beautiful sounds. That's really lovely.
Yeah, really cool guitar stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. You're good at picking the pickups to use, which ones you use and when.
Thank you. Yeah, that was my intention.
It was cool to hear the way that you cut the ambience out. Like you made this rule that there will be ambience and we're in the 80s, and then you did this very not 80s thing. You broke 80s.
I did. I love utilizing the 80s and breaking it a little. It's my favorite.
Well, your love for the 80s is a big part of why it comes off so well, because it's not a gimmicky like impression of the 80s. It's coming from someone who literally listens to the music of that time. Artists such as your favorite Billy Joel, who I know is your number one, I think.
No.
You said number one, or maybe number 1 million, number 1 million, maybe.
No, he's not down that low. Not that low. No, I think he's great. It's just I don't know. I just kind of just shut up, Billy. I don't know. Sorry.
You just want him to stop existing?
No, I don't. No, not like that. No.
Whoa.
I like some of the early 90s stuff because it sounded very early 90s. You know, the song with the piano and it's on fire.
Yeah. That's not her style, I should tell you, because she's my woman. That's not her style, I should tell you, because I'm her man. That doesn't wake you up in the morning and make you want to go out and kick the day's ass?
No, but if you want, I'll make that my alarm song tomorrow morning. I'll give it a shot.
Try it out, yeah.
No, you should do Good Night Saigon as your good morning song.
Okay, I'll do that.
So I understand we have to listen to Hold Your Fire to truly understand
by Rush?
Fire-Toolz.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I haven't rushed very much.
Yeah, that's okay. That album is extremely synth heavy. The person in the chat is kind of right. Like there was kind of an 80s, late 80s Rush vibe to some of the synths and maybe some of the melodies and maybe a little of the guitar tone. I mean, they wouldn't write like a 4-minute song like that or anything. I mean, it's still prog rock, but
right.
Yeah, the keyboards in that late 80s era were just so lush and glistening and beautiful, and their melodic sensibilities were just so moody, whether it's uplifting or tear-jerking, and it gets pretty far into a territory where someone would, where most people think it sounds like super cheesy because it's just so saccharine, but that's why I love it so much. So,
right, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually looked up the album. Is there a link between the Hold Your Fire album cover and the orb?
Yep, the red sphere thing I have, it either came from that or was one of the first things that influenced it. I think there was also a Pluto the dog cartoon that I watched when I was really young.
Yeah,
it had them tossing around a red ball that I think was also part of it, but I'm not positive. I'd have to dig into my psyche some more.
There just has to be a connection between Pluto and Rush, and it's just a full circle.
Dang.
Yeah. Pluto was my favorite character.
Yeah. Actually, one of my patrons actually had a question for you too, which is, what's the origin of the name Fire-Toolz?
Well, Fire-Toolz, without the hyphen, was the name of some DIY software that a independent software developer made a long time ago that is basically just like a child's play, sort of amateur way of wreaking havoc on the internet. Mail bombs, kicking people out of chat rooms, pinging people's IP addresses and slowing down their connections, just like stupid shit like that. I mean, probably illegal. But there was also AOL, but Fire-Toolz was not as popular. But so yeah, this was like mid 90s, I guess. And I like screwing around with that stuff because I wanted to be a hacker and like a
Right.
software developer, like coding person or programmer or whatever when I was young. And so I just have a lot of nostalgia for that era of the internet.
So it's a nostalgic reference to that.
Yeah, and it doesn't really fit. It fit the vibe I was going for when I first started the project. Now it doesn't, but I'm so used to the name. It's so integrated that I don't even think about that anymore. That's just it feels like home now.
Yeah. Why'd you add the hyphen? Because also like that's the thing where everyone like misspells your name and
yeah. So there was no real significance at first, other than because I liked it aesthetically. I could have used a space or made it one word, but I don't know. I like non-alphabetic Unicode characters a lot. I love text art, and I know it's just a hyphen, so it doesn't really do that much, but it kind of makes it look more like technical, or I don't know. It makes it more interesting. But it does separate me a little bit from that software, and people usually forget to use it, so it's really fun to pretend to be irate when people forget it and just be like, thanks for the compliment, but who are you talking about? Who's Fire-Toolz?
I saw that.
Yeah, I really jump on people's cases now, and I hope it becomes this thing where people know that it's ironic, kind of like the whole Primus sucks thing. That's their catchphrase, and people will say it on Reddit or something, and other people will get mad and be like, no, they're go on and on about like how good they are, like they would with Tool or something. Tool fanism. And then other people will chime in and be like, oh, well, I guess this person isn't a real fan.
Yeah.
So you wrote this song pretty fast for you, by your standards, right?
By my standards, as far as something like, fully produced, I guess.
What do you notice what was the impact of going faster on this song?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, the composition is more minimal. It's not a lot of changes. It's like a vibe, and it kind of stays that way for a while. I think it's great. I mean, I loved doing that. I love the writing a song quickly thing. I'm just not able to do like a whole lot of like interesting production stuff that I would normally do, but that doesn't make it bad. It just makes it different and a little bit more simple, I guess.
I think that there was a lot of interesting production stuff just in the solidness of the concept. I think like it was really relaxing music, but also not passive. It wasn't passive listening, but it was on the edge of like something you could just sort of vibe out to, but had enough energy to pull you through and keep your focus. And I like the way that your guitar playing always feels like every note is so like rich and cleanly executed, and like you're like really good at guitar. I don't want to say you're underrated at guitar because I think people appreciate it, but you really are. That is like a real huge highlight of your musicianship. But like, I guess it's not exactly the first thing people mention. It'll be more likely like, whoa, you're a vaporwave, but screaming. But like, but I would say like you're what prog should be.
Thank
Like
you.
you're really good at guitar. Like I know that isn't a surprise. We've figured this out, but it's like a feature that it's like there are other bands where that's all people talk about is how the guitar is good. And
Right.
the only reason they don't do that with your music is because so many other things it's such an integrated part of so many other things.
Yeah, and a
that's
lot of my songs that
amazing.
have guitar, it's only like on one part or something. Like
Mhm.
when I play live, I'm pick up my guitar when there's a guitar part coming, and then I'll put it back down and might not even touch it for a few songs. And I do wish I did guitar more in my music. I'm trying to push myself to do that because I just love guitar. But like, you know, it's not like a guitar-driven project. I don't think of it that way necessarily, just because of how much is in the way of synths and drums and effects and stuff.
So you're saying, to be clear, it's a guitar-driven project, and like you're not really supposed to pay attention to the synths and the production.
Yeah, I think you got it. And Dante is just asking me about pickups. I don't know. Oh, I have a Seymour Duncan humbucker here, and then I don't know. I think I put the Seymour Duncan in there, but I think the other two were already there. It's just a Highway 1 Strat that I bought in probably like the mid 2000s. So I'm pretty sure. I don't know. That looks weird. That's probably not stock, right? Fender wouldn't sell that. So I don't know.
Not
Maybe
sure,
that's not
yeah.
stock either. I don't even remember. I mean, it's been so long.
I love the stickers on there though.
Oh, thank you. I trash all of my belongings with stickers.
I feel like the stickers that they work for you in the way your old music videos were, especially because they're a collage.
Yeah.
The videos are a collage, and then the guitar is a collage. That's creative. Maybe even just happened naturally. But it's whoa, good idea. So,
cool. But yeah, that was great.
So rest in peace, that song. Next.
It'll end up on an album, I'm sure. I can't make music like for something like this and then just have it only be for that. Like,
cool.
I like to follow everything all the way down to the end and then release it. So you all got to hear a very early version of whatever the hell that ends up being. Who knows? By the end, there's probably gonna be blast beats in it.
Of course.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I'll be surprised.
I don't know.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
I don't think honestly, I don't think there will. I'm making fun of myself, but it'll probably stay pretty close to that. Probably with just a few more. Probably expand on the rhythmic part a little bit more with the percussion. Make it a little bit more diverse. But other than that.
All right. Dr. Whom has a track called Fornaking. Fornacking? I'm not sure how you pronounce that actually.
Fornicating.
That said Fornaking. Featuring Sumika, who I think did the beat for it.
Cool.
Enjoy.
Thought I could handle, little suck, started to panic, I threw up, coughing raw and teary eyes, give me a minute, give me a try, my heart races, not from pleasure, from all the eyes and from all the pressure, looking down on me, I need a minute, just to think, should I go home, ask for a ride, should I stay, bump and grind, I'm already here, they come near, say some words, they seem concerned, be right back, get up and run, wait in the restroom, hear it knock, say I'm sorry, quite a lot, heavy breathing, not much fun, I hear a voice, ask a lot, next thing I know, I'm on the rug, can I do, they wanna know, I said sure, they wanna know, voices guiding my hands and mouth, turn this way, arch like that, my neck is kinking while I gag, they keep asking, I say sure, would you kindly please say sir, clean my face with a towel, they keep praising, saying wow, I get paid and I get in the car, thank God it's over, I made it this bar, calming down, small and acidic, turns to me and then he said, how was it, how you like it, how was your first time, I wasn't sure, it's all a blur, so instead I lied, it was fun, but I was nervous, people perked up and look curious. There's another job, if you want, only if it pays a lot. I take a drag, I say it's cool. Imagine myself covered in drool. I can handle it, I tell myself. All I need is Dramamine. I'll get through the sweaty scene. Ignore the eyes, ignore the sound. Just fuck your best and make them proud. Fuck the panic, I'm the king. I'll make them all scream my name. Nay, 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 nay.
I'm so proud because last time I said everyone needs to rap.
Yep.
And here we
are.
Proof that's a good idea.
Yeah. I don't want to distract from this, but Ben, I wanted to say really quick, I have kind of did that like on 2 different songs of mine in the past year, and it's really weird, but it's your fault, and
Yes.
I still screwed it all up with effects like a whole lot, but it's
Fine.
kind of technically rapping. I felt awkward, but I did it, and no one's complained about those songs, so I agree. Everybody should do it.
It just opens up a channel in your voice, mind, word connection, music thing that is so cool, and that particular like dynamic arc there was so nice. Like I feel like that character, Dr. Whom the First's like voice's character, and who that was to me was such a kind of methy, like a meth vibe of just like someone kind of dangerous and who needs some help.
Yeah.
And is like, but is like also just like the boss. Like, it's very Breaking Bad kind of Walter White sort of feeling to me, I guess. Of just like, but it had this sort of like badass unhinged thing going for it, and the lyrics were really cool, and the track, the way that the rhythm of the vocals in the track worked was like the rhythm of the vocals were ahead and the track was glitchy, so you got this like broken in a good way tension. And then the climax was so cool when the F-bombs start dropping, you're saying fuck something, and I really felt it, and I'm just really like glad to hear Dr. Whom the First continuously every single month breaking barriers and like creatively just like doing such like weird stuff that is so Dr. Whom the First. Like it's
very
so
daring
personal.
also every time.
Totally.
Yeah. Very courageous work.
An incredible artist, really.
Also really liked his approach to storytelling in this. Like it had a very, like you said, the character you described, but I felt was very much acted out through that stream of consciousness kind of flow. Like it wasn't just like a rapping groove or something. It was very much, it felt like stream of consciousness to me. If that makes sense.
Yeah, really great lyrics, and I agree. Yeah. Is sort of giving me the pleasure that I got from this clipping song. I forgot exactly what it's called, but the chorus is they run the motherfucking city, yeah they know, but they check the lock every time they walk by the door. Check the lock every time they walk by the door. And just about the paranoia of being on top, like being if you had to like hurt people to get to where you are, how scary it is to be on top because everyone wants to take you down. And it was just like similar feeling I got in a good way because I love that song. And
I think Doc is a fan of clipping, so that makes sense. Yeah.
I would not be a shock.
There's actually, I don't know if I'm. Never mind. I don't know if I'm supposed to announce it, so I'm not gonna say anything. But
I get that.
okay, I'll say one thing. There is a song that's going to exist in which I've not collaborated with them, but did a remix of one of their songs.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That'll be out in within a month or something.
Nice.
They're so cool with the sound design.
Mm.
I could definitely see y'all working together.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually did do a song with Jonathan Snipes from clipping and Natalie Chummy, Towel Sounds, who has a lot of releases on Halsey Mountain too. We all three of us collaborated for a song, and it's on this compilation of songs in which Halsey Mountain artists and Death Bomb Arc vocalists made songs together.
Is that the JPEG Mafia label?
Yeah, he's not on it, but it's
That's awesome.
It's called Arc Mountain because it's from Death Bomb Arc and Halsey Mountain, and I think both labels sell the cassette. I don't know if they're sold out or not, but you can at least listen to it on streaming platforms.
How do you listen to a cassette on a streaming platform?
Well, you put it into your Spotify deck and
hit play.
hook it up to your computer, and then it goes to the internet.
That's
Just be sure to download enough RAM, and you should be good. I've heard.
Thank you.
I think I think the RAM's on the cassette.
Oh, it comes with the RAM? That's pretty.
Yeah, you can get
cool.
different amounts of RAM.
Nice. That's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how in high school in the U.S., every high school pretty much has a football team, and the football team has a name like the
Movies
Rams.
tell me so, yeah.
Yeah, the Rams. And then what people who have some sort of pride about their high school say is they say, "Let's go Rams." They say that. That is appalling to me. It's painful. I think it's just the government trying to encourage military culture so more people voluntarily enlist in the army.
I think it's just cancel culture.
Oh, it is. You're right.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, I'm going to uncancel myself right now.
Oh no, Ben, don't do that.
Well, I was thinking, what side do I want to be on, the canceled or the uncanceled? And I've decided I'm going to tweet about a cancel culture for now on. I'm going to just tweet about it, and I'm going to say what I think about it. Is it good or is it bad? Is it over the top? Has it gone too far? And I'm uncanceling myself so that I can go out and do that. And I want to thank everybody who has been involved in, we got my mom and my dad and my brother. And
they're all involved?
Yeah, they were the ones who put me in timeout. They sat me down. This was before I tweeted anything about my dog. They sat me down and said,
"Enough is enough.
You got to tweet about your dog. It's been too long." I haven't tweeted about my dog in a really long time. Because the only reason I was tweeting about my dog was because the shelter that I adopted him from followed me on Twitter.
Yeah.
But now they don't. Or well, at least one of the people isn't on Twitter that much, so I don't go on. But I'm uncanceled, and I want to thank everyone for listening to my sort of cringy joke that I'm doing right now. And
that sounds cringy. I like it.
Well, you like humor. Let's be honest. You like my humor.
Yeah.
Most people here do appreciate it.
I do have some new jokes though.
Could you tell one?
You ready? You want some of them?
Yes, I want one.
Okay.
One and then
then maybe another one later.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's good, depending on how it performs with the chat.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. All right. So, all right, chat. See what you think of this humor. Okay. All right. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm okay. Hi.
Are you done?
That's one of my jokes.
Okay.
Can we get some ratings?
Sincerely
People in the chat
enjoyed it.
hold up like a number, like with the rating on it. Like
Yeah,
7.
yeah, 1 through 10.
8,
everyone.
6. That'd
My
be
dog
great.
is concerned about that.
You might not believe this, but I sincerely think it was a 10.
Thank you. I do believe it.
Not even kidding.
It's funny.
Like, it sounds like I'm kidding when I say not even kidding, but I'm just really, really not. Like, it was truly a 10.
Oh, we've got a 69 coming through in the chat. That's pretty good.
You can't do that.
That's a
it's
pretty
1
high
through
number.
10 or 0 through 10. Stop.
Yeah, I love the joke that I told.
Maybe they meant 0.69 or 6.9.
I liked it.
Our next song is by Quitchman, who just handed out that 69.
Thank you.
I am not going to pretend I can read the title, but this is what it sounds like. You've added a translation. Nice. Thank you.
Føles hver dag som den samme gamle lunkne lort. Skal man trækkes med de samme problemer igen og igen. Hvorfor bliver man ved, at det hellere være et andet sted? Hvorfor bliver man ved? Hvorfor bliver man ved? Hvordan kan det være, at vi gang på gang befinder os i samme situation, reagerer på samme måde og stadig forventer forskellige udfald? Hvorfor bliver man ved? Der må der være en udvej. Hvorfor bliver man ved? Men det føles som en omvej. Hvorfor bliver man ved? Jeg vil hellere være et andet sted. Hvorfor bliver man ved? Hvorfor bliver man ved? Hold ud, jeg ved du kan. 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 Hvorfor bliver man ved? Jeg vil hellere være et andet sted. Hvorfor bliver man ved? Der må der være en udvej. Hvorfor bliver man ved? Jeg vil hellere være et andet sted. Hvorfor bliver man ved? Hvorfor bliver man ved?
All right. All the gallops. Very cool. Very cool.
I like that approach to singing over gallops. As opposed to being like really growly or like James Hetfield-ish or like epic, like yeah, being a bit more like David Byrne kind of.
Who's David Byrne?
Hopefully the next president. No, David Byrne. But as an adjective, I guess.
Yeah, we got it.
David Byrne, like David Byrne-ish. David Byrne-esque.
David Bernie Sanders.
Thank you very much for saying that, because I do really hope that he wins. But David Byrne, yeah, just a way of singing over gallopy stuff that fits Quitchman's voice really well, so that you can feel. I feel like if you go for like the James Hetfield, but it is just killing your voice, sometimes that sounds unsure, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But this sounded like, not like an impression of what you think should happen over galloping, but like a genuine statement of Quitchman's vibe.
Yeah, I
Good
definitely
vibe.
got a little bit of an older Metallica vibe, at least at first, like the verses, and then the choruses, like the melody and the chords were a little bit more friendly sounding than old Metallica. So the little modulations and stuff. So one thing I was thinking was it's kind of like thrash pop. I don't mean like pop in like a Britney Spears sense or something, but pop as in like, catchy, could be a rock radio hit type of vibe.
Yeah.
Which was, it was nice to hear that with the verses that sounded a little bit more evil.
Mm-hmm.
Sinister.
Old Metallica had a few hits. Oy vey, oy, oy, oy.
I'm really glad Quitchman added a translation, because I was very curious what it all meant. I will have to
What
read
does it all mean? I haven't seen the translation.
I don't know. I haven't checked it out yet.
Oh, well,
I
we'll
recommend
see.
everyone, well, in general, goes and checks out all the songs once more in the Discord after the stream. But I think it's probably in the description of the song.
There's a person I work with through I teach music lessons to this person capacity. I guess you could say a student of mine, who is maybe watching right now and is a bit shy, but trying to get into more collaborations and just get involved in a musical community, because where this person lives, there aren't a lot of folks who resonate with the kind of music that he does, that he resonates with. And so if you're out in the chat, I'm glad you're here. I hope you're having fun, and I hope you give the Discord a chance, say hello in there and say hi to everybody, because I think everyone will love what you do. And just thought of that because you were mentioning the Discord and how we should all go and celebrate these songs in there. There's a lot of good discourse.
There's a lot of beautiful people to collaborate with there too.
Yeah, it's true. Just like I love seeing everyone kind of like sharing and talking about what they did. There's a lot more to this stream than the stream. There's the Discord.
Very true. Discord.gg/Hugo. You can find a link in the description thingamajig, including many more. Mams has a song, and Mams wrote a Nepali song after 15 years, which is also the title of the song. I wrote a Nepali song after 15 years.
That's awesome.
And he made a really cool video along with it that I highly recommend everyone checks out. I thought it was super inspiring. Just watch it. He explains the process and what it all took to make the track. He even went and learned a new instrument for this and performed it together with us singing together simultaneously, like live, in a one-take capacity. It's great. I just really want you guys to check out the video. It's also in the Discord. Let's listen to it.
दिन रात बिति नै गर्छ उड्नु कसरी जोबन छँदा के गर्नु मन छ गाउँछु है दोहोरी समय कस्तो बिनामा एक्लो मै मात्र यस्तो कि आउने बाटो मेरो छ बेग्लो इच्छा त सस्तो कि नेपाली भने बोल्नु सजिलो लेख्नु त गाह्रो छ एक पङ्क्ति लेख्न साह्रै नै ढिलो समय नपारो छ यता न उता गीतको माने टोलेर घुम्दछ के भन्न नसक्ने कतै नजाने घरभित्रै रुँदछ डरको हो कि केही नगर्ने ओछ्यानमै बसिरहे निद्रा नलाग्ने मुडी नभर्ने सोचमै रसिरहे के गर्नु होला समय त बित्छ अघि बढिँदैन बितामा हेरी मच्छरको मिच्छ देखि सडिँदैन खुसी छु आज मनमा खुसी छ यसरी नै शान्तिको माझ चुसी छ मनलाई राखौँ आराम गरी के गरी टोलाऊ सन्नमै राखे सुख डोलाऊ
All right.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well done.
I really want to see the video.
You really should check it out. I really, really recommend the video. I hope Mams does more like it because I thought the video was really inspiring. And I think doing those kinds of challenges and documenting the journey of it is a really interesting way to do YouTube. That's really worth doing. Yeah.
So it's like the song while also showing the behind the scenes, or is it like a video essay with the song in the middle?
So he's kind of like explaining how he wrote the song and like what the prompt was and that kind of thing, and how he approached it, and eventually how he like processed it and all that too, like a bit more in detail on the production side of things. Then he performs the song.
That's so cool. Yeah. Good thinking, Mams. Yeah, that's a beautiful performance and a really touching concept, because I don't really know what it's like to be Nepali living in India, but it's probably weird to hang out with a bunch of Westerners who think you're Indian and like don't really know much, like personally don't really know much about what it means to be Nepali and like what, you know, the nuances of the cultures. And it's just beautiful to get a little personal piece of that from you. And it's a really lovely 7. I didn't think about like what meter is it until like towards the end when I just sort of was swaying to it. And that's a really rockin' the boat 7. like not a jerky 7, just like a we're on the water 7. Really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really loved the scratchiness of the playing and just really raw and vulnerable and just sort of in your face, not really in an intense way, but it just as if you were just standing right in front of me doing this like on a street corner or in a or just like in the room or something. I didn't even notice it was in 7. I wasn't even
neither.
thinking about time
Yeah.
signature. I guess I just thought that that I wasn't sure where the downbeat was because of the, like the the eighth notes were just, just like that. And I don't know. I didn't really know where the focus, where the accent was. I was just kind of along for the ride.
No one should be counting during that song.
I agree.
Yeah.
If you don't count and you just experience the song, like that's a really good sign.
Yeah.
It's really fun to count and figure that stuff out. I like doing
Wrong.
it.
Sure.
That's see now that's a 10. That joke.
Yeah, that was
Be
good.
fake mean to your friend.
No,
I
I
did
think
it.
I don't know if I don't know if I've ever heard a joke from you, Ben, that wasn't a 10.
Let me
Very
think of
true.
one.
Mhm.
Very true.
Okay, Barry the Bat had a friend who was indoors, and the bat was.
Please stand up while you're
awake.
telling the joke, Ben.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, good point. Right. Thank you, Lee. Thank you for having me over to the club, everyone.
Applause, everyone. Ben Levin.
All right, everyone.
his new
Here
joke.
Here's my new joke, and this one is in honor of Angel's premise that my jokes are all 10s.
Mhm.
All right, so there was a fish. Normally was in the ocean, but in this particular story, decided to take a trip onto land. Bit of a dangerous endeavor. Had trouble breathing, we could say. Was flopping around, struggling to maintain a grip on what was happening or what its body was asking it to do, but found its way into a bar. A fish kind of flopped into a bar and really having a hard time breathing, but jumped into a pitcher of water to take a little break. And an alligator was there in a bar of all places. And that alligator also had an interesting trip from the swamp. And they both found themselves in this place, kind of like a fish out of water. And alligator is in an odd circumstance, and that was different. What else? I had a couple thoughts the other day. I was thinking of funny, like what are funny things? Like there's one that I could think of, and I bet you know it, but I don't want to say it. What's this called? What's that called? I don't want to say it though.
I think it's
A
an
knee.
Ebo?
Guess again. You know what this is called, especially the North American, United States of Americans in the audience. They know this.
I think we're trying to be funny too, but we just are no match for you. I think that's an elbow, right?
What's it called? This little part. What is it? I won't say it though. I won't say it. It's too much. But what is it called in the chat? Someone say it. Yes, John Sybil knows. I'm not gonna say that though. That was a close
And he's
one.
okay with this?
Yeah, he doesn't love it, to be honest.
No, I didn't think so.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't say that out loud if I were you. But you can type it in the chat and we'll know what you mean. Oh, hi. You're so sweetie. I'll stretch too.
There's no slide whistle here. But I
Was
did.
that a real slide whistle, or did you have a little soundboard?
No, I have a slide whistle.
Cute.
Oh, okay.
He's so cute.
Dante has a song called Low. It's a demo. Let's check it out. Very curious. Also, hi, Jess. Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Love that dramatic shift in the second half. It was nice.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, somebody said it a bit of a Devin Townsend vibe. I can hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
I like the filtered, distorted, atmospheric vocals, and I like how it wasn't just like a momentary effect like those kind of vocals often are, but it was pretty much the vocal sound for the whole song.
Yeah.
I really like that. I just absolutely love vocal processing, and I go really hard on it most of the time. So I like hearing that.
I like the vocals a lot. I just wish they were a little bit louder, because I think they could carry more of the song than they were allowed in this case.
Yeah, they could be. And I don't think that would take away from it at all. I've realized that there's two vocal volumes that I like, and they both have their own power. One way is when they're just a little bit buried like that, to where they're not like inaudible, but they're just not front and center. They're kind of more blended with the guitars. And then you can have them a few decibels louder, where they like very slightly like sit on top of the music. And I think both ways are good, and I struggle and go back and forth with that myself.
Yeah.
I'll turn them up so they sit on top a bit, and then I'm just like, that's just too much, and then they bury them back a bit with the guitars, and then I'm like, well, now they're not as effective, so it's a toss-up.
I think the
You make that this sorry.
Well, I just think that if the music is supposed to sound heavy and overwhelming, then the vocal being buried a little bit adds to that effect, because
that's fair.
It feels like the vocal has to fight the band a little more. Like the band is really loud. But yeah, like I imagine if I went in and listened, I imagine like Dillinger Escape Plan vocals would be more where the guitar is than. But then, like, I imagine that Black Midi, the vocal is up on top, because their heaviness is a lot coming from the vocal.
Right.
Yeah. There's a brand of like early 2000s metalcore where it was just really popular to just bury the vocals, and it's extremely heavy music. But this is also a thing in like old screamo too, especially 2000s era and in mid 2000s, where it sounds kind of like the vocals are like kind of like suffocating in the music, and the vocalists just have to like scream harder and scream louder to try to escape, and they never really do, and it just sounds very suffocated, and in a good way. I really like that sound, and so it almost sounded like the vocals here were just kind of like just below the ocean surface, just kind of like asking to be heard and be pulled out, but never quite making it, but not so under that you're just kind of like, wait, is there a vocalist? So
I think the arrangement made it very effective, because a lot of space was left between the big chunks. So it's like ja-dong, dong, da-gong, melody stuff, ja-dong, dong, da-dong. And I think, like, I heard this cool thing recently about if you want something changed in a mix, to not just change the thing, but change the opposite of the thing too. So like, if you want the vocal louder, you maybe make the vocal a little louder, but make it like half as much louder as you were gonna, and instead also make something that was competing with it quieter. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, or you can EQ some room for it a bit. I'm always finding myself EQing out a little bit from distorted guitars, so a vocal can cut through. Just kind of find out what my most dominant frequencies are in my voice at the time, and just carve a little bit out of the guitars. But then, you know what, between the vocals I'll automate that frequency back up, or I'll just use some kind of dynamic EQ where, you know, the louder my vocals are in a certain frequency range, the more it ducks it out of the guitar channel. So that can help some. You could probably afford to do that with this mix, so it'll make it so the vocals are clearer without having to be louder, and you won't really notice that the guitars are being affected, because that frequency only gets ducked out of the guitars when you're singing, and when you're singing, that probably takes, you know, a fair amount of the listener's focus. You know, maybe not, but that's something I do all the time, and it's really helpful. It can really a little difference in an EQ carve can make a big impact.
Right. That's a good tip. Yeah. I'd love to hear more, Dante, more stuff with your vocals. I know you sang last time too, very different style. I think you were more like doing a grunt, screamy type thing. It was nice. Very nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was expecting something like that to come in, and it never did, and I like that. I think you you could have done a harsher vocal style in some parts if you wanted, but without it's completely fine.
I wonder what would happen if the choir parts were like multi-track human copies of Dante.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be really cool. Or even a bunch of other people singing in different octaves.
Yeah, that's something the community is really good at doing.
That's a good point.
To anyone who has joined us since the 24-hour live streams of 2021, at the end of that live stream, everybody, which is a lot of the people from this community, everybody recorded one big group chorus together.
Yeah.
Na 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 and all that, and it's really cool.
That was awesome.
When you get like 100 people through Discord to submit a short, sing along part. It's quite an effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really loved how some people did a certain thing that other people didn't. So when that thing happened, it was much quieter. It was the end of the phrase. Yeah, like it was like half the people did that. I don't know why or where they got it from, because I don't even think it was in the original that we're supposed to mimic, but I think that a lot of people just felt like it was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, the main vocal part was the, loud, and then at the very end of the phrase, it's just like some people did that little descending thing, and it made for a cool dynamic fluctuation there.
Totes. Yeah, epic memory. I think everybody thought 2020 was the pandemic year, and then 2021 is like, yeah, we made it past that awful year, and the vaccines are coming. And I remember feeling like this is like the end of something, like these 24-hour live streams. And now I look back at them as the middle of something.
And
I just wonder how it's going to change.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful experience. I'll always be grateful for it. And the only thing I'd change is I'd get Hugo involved.
Next time.
I think I wonder what my relationship with Hineni will be like once I'm comfortable doing a 24-hour live stream again. I really like being challenged to my limit, but
would be cool to do it again.
Yeah, it used to be like that my limit was based on mostly musical factors, but now my limit is based on like so much more about
real life,
the shape of my life. Yeah,
for sure.
And that's really okay.
How it's supposed to go. Things change.
I've never been more useful than I was in those 48 hours, I think. A lot of raising money for causes, and
that's true,
giving people so much inspiration, just because like Adam and I and Angel and all the collaborators are like good at what we do, and also struggling in a way, and like also experimenting and not sure how it's gonna go, and then it goes amazing.
What would you change if you do it now?
Well, I definitely would ask you to be involved.
Sure, but in the setup.
I would start in the morning. I'd start at 6 a.m.
Oh, right, because you started in the afternoon and you were already tired.
Yeah, we were really tired. We started at night. Yeah.
Yeah, you started at a good prime time. It was good for getting people, rounded up and excited. But I agree. That would be better. I would love that. I would love to wake up a couple hours early and get on Twitch with you all, and staying up till 6 a.m. doesn't sound so daunting the way staying up through the night and then all day into the afternoon sounds. That sounds
for sure
so much rougher.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, we were really sad at the beginning because we thought like we were fucked. And Adam, like, he drank a lot of coffee like in his life in general, so it didn't, it's not like enough of a cheat code to just be caffeinated.
Oh yeah.
But his cheat code was that he's just so fucking good at pushing through discomfort because of all the YouTube videos he's made. Where they're
Yeah.
like an hour long. Have you ever thought about what it'd be like to make an hour long YouTube video where you have to watch the whole thing to see if it flows? And you have to, anytime you find a mistake, you have to re-export an hour.
Yep.
There's just so many reasons why that like is similar to a 24-hour live stream. Just every single time he made one of those epic videos, it's just like all of his tour vlogs. It's so much footage.
Can't
so
imagine,
he can push through
incredible
anything.
amount of work.
He's a gritty guy. Like especially also because he lived in New York for still lives in New York doing music in New York. That like, oh my goodness, it's hard to do. And
yeah, and even I mean I know that he's editing these videos and he knows he's on camera, but some of his tour vlogs and stuff have been stressing me out because of all the stuff that like Sungazer has had to go through on tour, like with COVID cancellations and having to drive really long distances, and then there not being shows, and then the most recent video he posted with all of the Ableton issues and flight issues, like, you know, like I said, I know he's like editing things and he knows he's on camera, but at the same time I was just admiring and even talking to my partner out loud about how like impressive it is, like how he pushes through all of that discomfort and distress and yeah, he just gets right down to it and thinks it through. And I can tell that he's emotional about it and he's stressed, but he's really, really good at getting through it.
Yeah, that's why I quit.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that. I wouldn't be able to do what he does. I don't even think I would want to. I think that if I was going to go tour Europe, I'd want to be in like a big enough act to where there's, you know, we have a driver, we have like stage managers, and just where I can just sleep on the bus and then like show up and play and then go back in the bus and
in the Rocky bus.
Like if you are on a bus in Europe, it's a sweet deal because it's a double-decker bus, and that means everybody's got a different floor for sleeping than socializing, so you actually can get great sleep. And that was the only tour I've ever done, was when we were in a bus in Europe where I felt like this is a sustainable way of life. But if the only way you can do what you're doing is to be in a extremely expensive double-decker bus in Europe with a much bigger band that you're opening for, then you're not cut out for it. In my opinion. And I could see, you know what? I could see someone who's done it a long time and has gotten to that point becoming dependent on it, and then it's fine because, like, at that point, I guess you're just going to keep being in that situation. But, like, if your first requirement to do the tour or to, like, tour is for it to be in a bus, then, you know, you could get lucky, and I guess that could happen, but then the bus will burn you out, I think. Like, the only way that you can appreciate the bus is by not having the bus for a really long time, I think. Because, like, you can still be on a bus tour and then be upset because, like, the venue didn't pay as much as you wanted, or, like, the finances are really tight. But, like, worrying about the finances of a tour is a lot less scary sometimes than, like, safety, where am I sleeping, when are we eating, and how much, like, the distances you drive. So, like, if you're driving yourself and you're following a bus, like if you're opening for a band that has a bus but you're in a van, it's like, okay, so their plan is to drive overnight so that they wake up at the venue. So their route is something where actually when we tear down, we have to jump into the van and start driving overnight. Then arriving at the venue, when do we sleep? Well, they sleep on the bus, but we don't sleep in the van. I mean, you could say you could sleep in a van, like people could say you could do that, but when you find yourself sleeping, when you find yourself in the van, you might find out, as actually most people do, that you can't sleep in the van. As tired as you are, and as much as you'd like to, and as nice as the van might be, it might be a very big van, you find, I can't sleep. And then it's not like, hey, you pussy, you can't sleep in the van, what's wrong? It's like you're literally unable to. And what about people in wheelchairs, and are like people who have like a back problem? Like, are they just supposed to not do it? You know what I mean? And so it does suck to sleep in the van, and that's usually what bands that open for bus bands do. But in Europe, because they're double-decker buses, you actually buy onto the bus, which is extremely expensive. But if you can do it, it's better.
Right.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway, I'm getting into my little loop of like, I can't believe I did that for so long.
I don't want to miss anything, but I have to pee and I want to make another cup of coffee. So what I'm going to do
for it.
Is I'm going to take my phone, which is my camera, and listen to the YouTube stream
Okay.
while that's happening, so I don't miss anything.
Sure.
So my camera is gonna disappear for a bit.
Well, we should also talk about some other very important stuff real quick. Namely that you're here. Thank you very much. And also, people should probably very much reach out to you if they want some help with their mixes and their masters.
They should. It would be the moral thing to do.
Absolutely.
Angel Hair Audio. If you want to do ethical mixing, you have to
And
hire.
where can they do that? The best.
Carbon-free, carbon-neutral mixing.
Yeah. They can go to my website at angelhairaudio.com. That's the best way to get something started, because there's a contact form at the bottom of it that they can fill out. But if people don't remember that and they just find me somewhere on the internet, I'll just tell them then to go fill out the contact form.
Just shoot you a message.
However you want to reach me is okay.
Cool.
If you just have some initial questions and you're not ready to like actually ask me to do anything in particular, you can just hit me up on any social media and ask me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, go get your coffee.
Yeah, gonna pee too. Do a big
what you gotta
pee.
do.
Yeah.
Also, I heard that the previous 24-hour challenges are on Ben Levin Music's Patreon channel.
That's true. You can watch the whole 24 hours from my side of the stream on Patreon. It's one of the posts from last year or something.
There you go. I think that's just Ben Levin Music, right? Or are you just Ben Levin on there?
Ben Levin, I think. Yeah, but if everyone wants to go to a link or something, well, I guess I don't have much else to say. Yeah, that's a good place to go. My Patreon. I'm going to make a Q&A video tomorrow.
Very nice.
Yeah, I have to pay my water bill.
Patreon.com/Ben Levin. Also, if you just tuned in today, we are listening to all the song challenge submissions. This is something me and Ben do every month. We've been doing it for like 2 years now, almost, I think.
Wow, that's so cool.
Almost, right? Yeah, January.
Keeping it up.
If you want to join our Discord. There's always a prompt every month. It's always very cool. Always lots of amazing musicians submitting their stuff and collaborating and giving suggestions to each other. You can find a link to that underneath the stream, but it's also discord.com/Hugo Moroux. My name, in case you didn't know. Also, if you want to support this whole thing, please consider joining my Patreon or donating to my Ko-Fi, which you can also find in the description. I also have some lesson slots available if you're interested in guitar lessons, or you want to help you out with your music production or coach you through writing a song, that kind of stuff. I have a whole bunch of slots that opened up, so please reach out. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah.
Let's go to the next song.
Opportunity.
Hell yeah. Let's listen to Bruno. Bruno did a song called Sakada. No, we didn't do Ben's song yet.
Sorriso virou, conspirou, longe voltou pra ti. O que seria contigo? Como o sol da manhã deixou-me ao lado, meu coração se perdeu. Nós nunca vai esquecer as estrelas que nos viram longe, juntos na sacada. Carinho por ti ficou em mim, onde você estiver. Fica bem, cuida bem, exista.
Woohoo!
All
That
right.
was unique. I really love the lack of grooves.
Yeah. It's
So
very
cool.
exciting to hear Bruno not groove for once.
I know. Did we request that?
I think
Did
we
we?
may have. Yeah. I think we may have.
That's awesome. I mean, Bruno can do anything.
Very glad you
that's-
did. Yeah.
But that, just because somebody is really good and will do a great job doesn't mean they don't deserve recognition.
Mhm.
I don't want to just be like, yeah, sure, I knew it would be awesome, whatever. No, it's so cool. Like, you were able to structure this piece that grew harmonically so much and grew
Mhm.
and had such great dynamics and feel to it
Yeah.
without the usual tools. The bass.
I
No
still retained
bass.
his harmony skills, of course, in this, despite the lack of groove. Some beautiful chords in there.
Yeah, gorgeous. I love the last chord. It's so
Hmm.
it's out and it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
spicy. Yeah.
Nice spice.
More, just more. I mean, more pushing yourself like this, because I think ultimately that's how you're going to make the most progress, because you've already solidified the groove side of Bruno so much. I would love to see you like go a bit more sideways into different directions and see how else can you use this harmony. Maybe if it doesn't groove, or what if it grooves but I don't do the harmony, or
What does Bruno do when there's the bass note stays the same the whole time and there's only one vocal layer and the rest you can do whatever you want?
Yeah.
Just like do, just like the same note in
Mhm.
the bass.
That'd be interesting. One chord
just like
punk song by
Give
Bruno
challenges. Yeah.
with one
Yeah,
vocal layer.
actually, I know that would be good.
Probably.
I wonder if Bruno would get into vocal fry screaming, what that would do. It just seems like such a left
That'd be
field
interesting.
thing for
Yeah.
his aesthetic, but like, what would happen if it was in there a little bit? Mix that into the porridge. Same thing with Sumika. Sumika doing a little bit of vocal fry singing would be so interesting.
Yeah, for sure. You're terrible at it. That's why you got to do it.
Yeah, exactly. we're here to suck until we're full of juice that we've been sucking on the sugar cane. We're getting sweet or something.
Yep. Nice.
Hey, how about this? Sometimes you suck over and over again and you're actually sucking on sugar cane. And it's delicious.
Sure. Nice save. This could have gone so wrong, but
oh yeah, I know about that stuff.
I appreciate the direction it took.
Yeah, I'm good at knowing about that.
Stealth Mouse. Let's keep going. We got a couple more. Let's do it. Speed run. Stealth Mouse with a track called Sanguine. Sanguine? Probably just Sanguine. Another 10-10 joke. Dramatic shift. All right, Stealth Mouse.
Good job, Stealth Mouse.
Very nice. Yeah.
Cool journey. I like
Definitely
the
feels like a
switch.
journey. Yeah. Tells an entire story.
Yeah, it's interesting, like Angel and Stealth Mouse doing instrumentals for the journaling prompt that still feel like, they still feel personal and
Yeah.
introspective, and you don't really need words to. Obviously, I mean, this is something that I think is obvious. You don't need words with your music to be intimate. But the like I have just some little mix notes, because Stealth Mouse is a regular, and I think just might be like really helpful maybe.
Yep.
In the opening synth, I would mess with putting an EQ on the synth, the for the whole ballady like soft synth section, and notching down around like 400 hertz around there, and going like left to like 300 and maybe to 200, go right to 500. See if you can find a space in there where the notch, like the slight decrease in that frequency range, just slight, makes the whole thing a little more clear. See if you can find, like, see if you like the result of moving that around and like testing the ground. See if there's any particular frequency area that notching down, you're like, oh, okay, that sounds clearer to me, because I think there's a buildup of frequencies around the low mids that could be easily just like doop, dropped out, and then
tested out.
And then also to balance it out, you might want to increase the high end somewhere. But that's just something I thought might add to the peacefulness of that section.
Yeah, I agree with that. There was a synth that had a lot of really high-end sizzliness to it, and I'm sure that was, to some degree intentional. Like, you chose that sound for a reason, or you dialed in that sound for a reason. But as far as what Ben is talking about, with like softness and things like that, I wonder if maybe some of that high-end sizzly hiss could get rolled off a little bit, not completely removed, but just rolled off enough to where it's not so, it doesn't sound so much like a intrusive tape hiss. But at the same time, considering the nature of the song as a whole, and the sound palette and the dramatic nature of a lot of it, maybe that's a desired effect. Maybe it's good there, maybe it's effective there. It did kind of remind me of like an old cassette almost, and listening to music like that on an old cassette, it was like kind of a nostalgic vibe. So take that or or leave it. It's fine if it's there how it is, but you could also try rolling that hissiness off a little bit and see how that affects the vibe. But yeah, I really liked it. I could be wrong, but it sounds like it was performed on an electronic kit and not like quantized in a DAW. I think that's the case. Or even if you didn't play it on an electronic kit, it doesn't sound quantized, so it has like a bit of a looser feel to it. There's like some slight tempo fluctuations that added to the storytelling, kind of like if you're listening to solo piano, their tempo is always all over the place, constantly going up and down, pushing and pulling. And I was noticing that happening with the drums, that the whole arrangement, and it was like a breathing in and out kind of thing, which I liked. And I am so hungry, so I'm just going to eat on stream. Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
You better.
Yeah.
Stealth Mouse plays drums often on other people's projects.
Yeah.
Very generous collaborator.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. We're proud of you.
Hell yeah, keep it up. Ben, let's listen to your song. It's about time.
Okay. Sure.
It's called The Back of My Grandpa's Hand. Sounds like this.
I know myself like the back of my grandpa's hand. He's been gone for as long as I've been in bands. My dog's neck reminds me of my grandpa's neck. It swirled around while he swallowed his steak and eggs. A mistake, I guess. It eventually did him in. But which cancer you get, it's not always from what you've eaten. And his hand, well, I'm improvising his hand. Each time I try to imagine it in my hands, though I seek them out. Get 200 skinny pale hipsters in a line and I'd have my doubts, staring at the back of their hands.
Nice. That was lovely. Your guitar sounds so good.
Oh, thanks. It's just this mic pointed at me and the guitar and singing and playing it.
I love how
And I
warm it
did a-
sounds, like very intimate and in your face.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
great.
thanks. Yeah, I liked writing it. It felt really nice.
Oh, you're muted, Angel.
No, I'm not. You're lying.
Oh,
Ooh, lies.
I was
I'm not.
muted. I was muted so people couldn't hear me crunching my veggie sticks. Were you using that piano, Ben? The one right there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just mic'd it from my computer, like from the.
Yeah, it had a nice room.
yeah. I love how it
to it.
gently like pokes through in the mix.
Thanks. Yeah, it's like demo mode, but sometimes you get good results when you're shooting for a demo.
Oh yeah, I thought the way you recorded it sounded great. That could definitely
Cool.
be on an album.
Mhm.
You like the Weaker Thans, Ben?
What's that?
Oh, you don't know the band The Weaker Thans? You should check them out.
Mm-mm.
They
Okay.
do a really great job of kind of doing stuff like that, but they also have some rock songs, and they really, the dynamic shifts on the albums going between stuff like that and their louder stuff is really nice. So that probably doesn't sound interesting. Sometimes they're loud, sometimes they're quiet, but it's, I don't know. They're really good. I think that you would like them. You should check out their albums. Left and Leaving or Reunion Tour. Your voice reminds me of his a little bit sometimes.
That would
Yeah.
be useful to hear because I get a lot out of hearing people with my range and my timbre, finding
Yeah.
out what other ways to treat certain notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked making that. I haven't written a song in a long time, and it's like, yeah, just kind of the journaling process is just so great.
Yeah. How do you feel the journaling helped this song?
Well, I've been thinking about how I don't know myself very well in this moment, and so I have to kind of write a new story of who I am, and I can't. And so, like, that's part of why I'm vulnerable right now is because I like other people can write your story for you if you let them, and I have to like write it myself. And just thinking about that feeling and how impossible it is for me to remember like details about my grandpa's like skin and body and like touch and smell and all these things, and how I feel that way about myself just from yesterday, sort of. And like how, you know, there's that saying, I know you like the back of my hand, my own hand, but like honestly, I don't know if I could identify my hands in a lineup necessarily if there were like 100 similar hands. But yeah, it's just sort of nice to think about those things, and then this is just sort of one angle on that whole concept of writing my story.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great piece. I liked it a lot.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.
We have 3 more songs. Scully next with a track called Vast Space.
When two different worlds collide, something's forming, shining bright. All the fog and that it breathes, holding back what one can see. Deep below, the magic calls to its ways of cold and dark. Setting weary minds astray. How did I lose my way? Been so close and yet so far. The endless space between. Light years spanning these two parts. Happiness is such a farce, and feeling of a glimpse of hoping there is such a trope. Would you mind just staying here? I don't wanna be alone. Don't leave me now. Don't leave me now. Don't leave me now. Don't leave me now. Leave, don't leave me now.
All right,
Like
Scully.
the Don't Leave Me Now stuff where you cut to just acoustic guitar and then you're like, that's so sad and good. Nice.
I really
ending
like
there.
how it had such an organic sound all throughout, and then at the very end, it's like this bit crusher rolls in and just digitizes it like out of the blue. It was just a texture I was not expecting. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like I feel like Mount Erie does it sometimes. You know, it's just like a person with their guitar, like lonely sounds, maybe a few overdubs, but nothing crazy, and then it's like some sound will appear that's just like you know,
Unexpected.
in a different from a different dimension. And I mean, I'm sure it was just like a bit crusher being like automated in slowly, but it's just such a digital texture. So I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Also very happy to hear Scully sing more.
Yeah,
I'm very excited for that. A lot of people like sang on their tracks, which is so nice to hear everyone's voice. That's so cool.
I hope you keep doing it, because if you just sing on one track and then you don't for like 7 or 8 months,
then it's difficult again.
Yeah, exactly. You get all like stuck up, gum up the drains, they say.
Yep.
But I liked how you put that reverb throw on the word far. That was fun. Just another
for sure.
production compliment from me.
And also, it sounded like a very personal piece of music, which I appreciated. It felt like a very honest, personal piece.
Thanks
great.
for opening up and
thank you.
taking chances.
Yeah, you have a whole EP with singing, but for the song challenges, it's been a while. I mean, you did the rap. That's true. I just like when you sing. I want more singing.
each time you sing about a different thing, your singing has to grow. And even if you were rapping, or even if you were singing something maybe funny or something heavy metal, singing this is very different from those things.
Yeah. Lemmy Vanilli has a late entry called Take a Chance. I'm very curious for this.
Yeah, Angel, I feel like, have you heard Lemmy Vanilli before?
I may have, maybe on a previous stream, possibly. I don't know.
She may have been in the previous one we did.
Lots of good stuff from Lemmy.
All right. Take a chance. Usually very EDM style. I'm curious how the journal influenced their work.
You've taken over my mind like an invasive species. I believe that this time things will be different. Let's hope tomorrow never comes. So there's a consequence. Can't think of anything. Feel safe with you. I'm scared to lose. We medicate ourselves. Feel safe with you. What's there to lose? Got nothing left. As I take it safe.
Yay.
It's great.
Dang.
I
Really
love when
nice.
songs
yeah.
with dubstep elements are pleasing to me, because that sound really just kind of got super on my nerves for a while there, and I really love hearing it done in ways that I enjoy, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
So cool to hear the more songy approach from them, because I think in the past they've made these sound design journeys very really like compelling, catchy stuff, but this is
lots
much
of
more
ear candy.
yeah, I mean, of course the vocals are a big part of it, but this also is like a different form than a lot of the other stuff I've heard by Lemmy Vanilli.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm such a fan. I just love the way the vocals fit in with everything, the way the distortion and compression was.
Very dark vibe that was very cool also.
Yeah. And like the way that the low end sat, and I just love their production style and voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the vocal delivery. It was I just like how it was like very up close and a little bit whispery, like soft talking, but it still had an attitude to it. And it was I don't recall hearing other music from this artist before, but when you were saying, Ben, that they usually do stuff that's more sound designy, I could definitely hear that in this, and I can only imagine, how immersive more of a sound design piece from them would sound. I'd really love to hear some like just really abstract stuff from them going down that road.
I wonder like where the best place to listen to Lemmy Vanilli music is.
There's a bunch on their SoundCloud that I know of, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure they're in the stream right now, but maybe they can come back to us on that and share some work in the Discord. That'd be cool.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah. There is a Lemmy.
Here.
Ah.
Yeah, look, no pressure to release stuff because music is more than just like releasing albums and all that, and whatever's giving you the most like fulfillment is what I want to root for you to do. But I am a big fan, and if you could let us know when you do release your next thing, love to hear it.
Yeah.
No pressure.
For sure.
You know how it can be.
Albie von Moltke sent in a song. It's called Inescapable. Let's check it out. We got 2 more songs.
I'm locked inside my music case. It's a feel I can't escape. Broke my mother's heart today and locked beyond this subway. Got locked inside my blue veins. Got free from my heavy chains now. I broke them right apart and danced to the refrain. And I knew just what to do to be the better me and not shun all I do. But now you're laid out in front of me. Oh, it's too real. Can't see you breathe now. Is it too late to kill the pain, or should I just walk away now? No, you woke me in the middle of the night. Pull me close, you could not fight. We talked and talked about its dangerous lies, and I woke you in the middle of the night. I pulled you close, I could not fight. I talked and talked about its dangerous lies now, and you knew just what to do to be the better you and not shun all you do.
All right. Albie, well done. First song also, I think. First
Oh,
submission
really?
ever.
Oh, good.
I think. Might
Thank
be.
you for. There's another. I love the like Sumika did. Also
second.
the ones that sound like a live take.
Uh-huh.
That's a really cool thing that happens when you learn how to play one of your songs through like that, as opposed to like making it in the DAW,
Yeah.
which is obviously a legit thing to do. I'm not criticizing that, but it's more just like when you learn your song and you perform it, there's all these cool vocal ideas and just kind of magic accidents that happen, ways that you swallow certain words or like breaths that go awry and all the little scratches. Kind of like that was like the vocal version of the Mam's string instrument there with all the intimate details there.
I have a little rasp in their voice.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool quality to have.
For sure. Oh, great stuff, Albie. Thank you very much for sending it in.
Welcome, welcome.
Lastly, Witch King. Unbelievable. He sent it in 20 minutes ago. Shame on you, Witch King. But thank you for sending it in nonetheless.
Shame on you or good job getting it in last minute.
Shame on good job.
Shame on good.
Cool.
It's probably a new record. Yeah, I don't think you've ever gone this late.
Meine Story beginnt in einem fremden Land, sprachlich verwandt. Fame ist vor der Blanz. In den Niederlanden geht man nicht, sondern man fährt Fahrrad. So etwas wusste ich, obwohl ich niemals da war. The intention for the trip was a huge party, and not going for a trip, neither the tarty. Meeting friends from all over the globe, it was intense, totally dope. Ich sah viele Gesichter von Neuen und Bekannten, es gab Partylichter und auch Festgelanden. Man gönnte meinen im Großen und Ganzen, miese Peter gab's keinen, alle wollten tanzen. Mit Live-Musik wurde alles krasser, mein persönliches Highlight, gratis Wasser. Doch die Fete ging nicht ewig, zum Schlafen war man fähig, zum Aufruf wird man tätig, by the way, ich bin noch ledig. Also fuhr ich dann ganz allein zusammen mit meinem Corsa Prime nach der sehr entspannten Time auch dann mal nach daheim. Die Party war sick und ich bin dankbar für die geile Zeit. Beim nächsten Mal bin ich wieder bereit. Party war sick und ich vermisse all die netten Leute. Es war schön zu sehen, wie jeder sich freut. Party war sick und wir haben alle gelacht. Niemand hat an etwas Böses gedacht. Party war sick und zum Ende flossen ein paar Tränen. Wir hoffen alle auf ein Wiedersehen. Die Party war Kaum bin ich zu Hause angekommen, hat mein Immunsystem mich auf den Arm genommen. Direkt nach der ersten Nacht in meinem Bett hat sich ein Husten breit gemacht. Nicht nett. Und dann noch erhöhte Temperatur. Ich hörte auf zu trainieren. Goodbye Muskulatur. Jedoch fiel die Temperatur schnell wieder runter. I'm feeling the cure. Mir geht's wieder munter. Plötzlich Bauchschmerzen bringen mich aus meinem Traum zu einer Hochzeit in einem weißen Raum. Meinen Ringträger gab es auch, doch etwas war verdreht. Der Ring trägt den Lauch, den es gerade nicht gut geht. Auch etwas sonderbar war das Brautpaar. Verstehen konnte es keiner. Doch sie passten gut zusammen wie Arsch auf Eimer. Als ehrenwerter Schwiegersohn saß ich dann auf hohen Thron und begann meinen Schwur. Oh großer Gott, wie kannst du nur? Beschissener Pott, die reine Tortur. Ich hörte mit dem Gefluche auf, blickte darauf und stand auf. Dabei hab ich etwas nachgedacht, warum mein Magen so etwas macht. Zum Frühstück das Brot mit Erdnussbutter oder das Abendessen meiner Mutter. Naja, ist ja dann auch scheißegal. Gegen den Kack fress ich Zwieback aus dem Regal. Denn ich bin sick. Zu sein ist nicht gerade schön. Mein blöder Kopf hört nicht auf zu dröhnen. Denn ich bin sick. Ich bin nicht oft krank, aber wenn dann richtig. Nach dieser Reise war das absichtlich. Denn ich bin sick. Hohe Temperaturen bin ich nicht geübt. Ich bin von Natur aus ein cooler Typ. Denn ich bin sick. Und kann dadurch nicht rennen. Sollte aufhören zu flennen und weiter pennen. Denn ich bin wieder im Badezimmer. Ich checke die Lage. Stelle mich nackt wie immer auf die Waage. Fuck, jetzt ist mein Silo leer. Vor der Erkrankung hatte ich 2 Kilo mehr. Zudem kam dann auch noch der Husten wieder. Wieder gesund zu sein, wäre mir persönlich lieber. Denn schließlich musste ich noch etwas einsingen, um meinen letzten Song zu Ende zu bringen. Das war ziemlich nervig, ja, wer hätt's gedacht. Doch der Song wurde fertig gemacht. Die Schlinge um den Hals wurde langsam zum Fädchen. Doch mein Kopf hat Problems mit einem Mädchen. Manchmal taucht sie auf in meinen Träumen. Ganz besessen fange ich dann an zu räumen. So versuche ich einzuschlafen, denn dieses Gefühl will ich nochmal erleben. Doch diesen Traum scheint es nur einmal zu geben und mit dieser Qual muss ich weiterleben. Also krieche ich dann schlussendlich um 15 Uhr aus meinem Bett. Nehme eine Dusche und rieche nett. Es fehlt jede Spur an Begeisterung. Der Traum war mein Highlight, doch der ist leider Den ganzen Tag muss ich an sie denken. Ich will nichts mehr als ihr mein Herz zu schenken. 'Cause I'm lovesick and it sucks so hard. These feelings only tearing me apart. 'Cause I'm lovesick and you could call it obsession. How to do a proper confession. 'Cause I'm lovesick and then there are these primal feels, especially between head and heels. 'Cause it's the dick. Alright, you geiles Alpha-Tier. Here's some music from the Klavier.
Yay!
Woohoo! Good job
did it.
getting that together. You got it. I have a couple. Well, I have one suggestion for working on your rapping stuff. Now
Cool.
that we've heard it a couple times. So what I would say is try, and this will take a little more time. You know, it's hard when you're in a hurry to do this, but try memorizing like a little chunk of it, just like maybe 4 lines at a time, and record yourself delivering the lines from memory, and compare and contrast the way that you deliver that line when you're off book, when you're just listening to the track while you're singing or saying it. Compare that to how you sound when you're reading it. And then when you're reading lyrics, you'll be able to learn from doing that process like over and over again. You know, maybe just like do the whole song in little chunks like that. You'll start to learn how to read lyrics off of a page sounding like you're not reading them. Because it can be hard with so many words and so little time. It's a lot. But it's sort of an acting thing. It eventually becomes acting, where you're like doing a table read. So like it's the same thing kind of on piano when you can't look at your hands because you're looking at the chart. Sometimes certain jumps and leaps and just like other things just don't sound as natural. I guess it's different from that. But if you take a line that is you're just working on like getting all the words in, compared to like you've memorized it, it just kind of flows off your tongue. The things you're going to be thinking about when you perform it are going to be really different, and you'll be able to focus a bit more on the inflection and delivery when you're off book.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself because I was crunching. I like the panned coughing. There's a few songs of mine that will be released in the future and there's one already out, I think, that there's coughing in. But most of the time it's because I'm doing those harsh vocals and I end up
Coughs
having
have to come out.
but I just keep it in. But I liked how it was rhythmic and panned, so it was musical, and
Yeah.
I didn't know all the lyrics, so I didn't know if that like tied in or whether it was just sort of an absurdist.
No, it tied in. I think it's about his trip to TwitchCon and then coming back home sick with COVID.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't latch on to that. I spent more time thinking, I don't know what's being said here than I did listening to the English words.
Yeah, it was cool. It's nice to make a track after an event like that to like kind of reflect and capture the memory even.
And I like the vibe of the instrumentals. Just I don't know, I don't want to say like happy or goofy, but like kind of like it's kind of whimsical. Just very like kind of eighth note based, which is kind of a little childlike, not childish. I don't mean that at all. That's a very different word to me.
Yeah.
Childlike, and it's like sort of innocence, and like the intervals were like kind of easy and
Playful,
pleasant
maybe.
on the ears. There's no like dissonant jazzy chords or anything like that.
Yeah.
I kind of loved how the instrumental was like pretty quiet, because it had a little bit of a vibe of like musical accompaniment more so than it did like mixing the vocals really well into the instrumental like you would normally hear. So
Right. I also like how you introduced the piano outro / solo or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, when the drums are like doo, duck, ding, a doo, doo, boom, and they're in. That's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I to answer Witch King's question in the chat, I can hear when a singer is reading, if they haven't practiced the sound of not reading. So like I think most people do read when they sing, and do read when they're like recording their takes, just because it helps to have the words there. But there is like a skill set, which is a really attainable skill set, by the way. It's not something like you have to stress over it. You'll be able to do it just by thinking about it. Even there's a skill set to sounding like you're not reading, and it has to do like when people read teleprompters, like sometimes they're like, and then the best way to get to the like there's a certain like rhythm of or inflection to reading a teleprompter. Like people will be like, next you have to go and log in to this website at www. Like there's a almost like the GPS giving directions. But then people who are used to reading teleprompters, like John Oliver, you totally forget there's a teleprompter. But John Oliver's reading; he doesn't memorize his show, and that's just something like that you can totally do. And I'm just putting as an encourager of your rap career / expression. I think that's something very attainable that you can practice. Just memorize some parts, record yourself singing and memorized, and make observations about that.
It's good advice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good stuff. And with that, we have arrived at our conclusion. We not even at our final song. The final song's done. This is it. We're through.
We did it. Thank you so much, Angel.
Angel,
it's so nice to have you here.
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on again. Such a treat.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's always inspiring.
It's a great way to spend the day.
Hell yeah.
Everybody's doing great. I'm really glad everyone's writing music here. Imagine how many of you would feel so much different if you didn't have music in your lives. I mean, just think about what a hole that would be. And it's so nice that you've all dedicated yourselves to putting something positive in that space. And I, saying that to me and Hugo and Angel as well, we're all really lucky we can find time for music, and we're really lucky there are people around encouraging us to do it.
Yes, very true.
Please go check out Angel's website if you're in any way, shape, or form interested in getting some mixing help, getting your mix done by Angel even.
Yeah, if you don't want to, fork out the big bucks for a mixing job, you can throw me a smaller rate and I'll listen to your whole album or your song and, tear it apart, make suggestions, critique the mix and all that. Yeah, a lot of people do that before I get into, like, if they want to mix it but they want me to master it, they'll sometimes hire me to do like a in-depth mix critique, and then they'll take that and go back and touch up their mix before they send me the final version for mastering.
Nice.
Yeah, Faye's done that, and yeah, a whole bunch of people that some of you all may know have done that. It can be really helpful.
What was the website again where they could find it? Or find you?
angelhairaudio.com.
angelhairaudio.com. Cool. Please go check out Ben Levin's, my dear friend's Patreon. Patreon.com/Ben Levin. And also,
Option.
go check out his lessons at benlevinmusicschool.com.
Thank you, Hugo.
Some good
And-
stuff. Some good courses
we're-
on there. Go check it out.
We got 2 more courses I'm working on. It's gonna be nice.
That's very good news.
I have to walk this doggy before Jessica's song club starts.
How late does it start?
At 7, so in an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay. So one more song came in that we should
okay.
probably listen to.
Let's listen to it.
Also, if you'd like to stream, please support it. You can do it through my Patreon, patreon.com/Hugo Moroux, or donate on my Ko-Fi. There's links in the description in the thingy. YouTube sometimes changes where it is. You can also sign up with us for lessons with me. I love to teach. There's a whole bunch of slots available. Please reach out. You can always send me a message or check out my website, which is also linked down below. Yeah, thank you all for being here. Let's enjoy Caitlin's track together. We'll call it a night. That's not
That's the
Caitlin's song.
same one.
It's called Chasing Greenbird.
I was like, wow, it's the same bass line. Weird.
What a coincidence.
I always give too much, don't know just what I want. You want an answer, oh baby, I'm trying. I don't know, I wanna give you more. The bird I'm chasing caught in the elevator. Expectations, I wanna need 'em better. I could be whatever you need, but everyone keeps saying back to everything I make. It's like my journal's on display, and I'm the only one who don't know how to read it. I probably should delete that. I always give too much, don't know just what I want. I just hate to let you down again. Let you down again. But there's this bird I'm chasing caught in the elevator. Expectations, I wanna need 'em better. Mold myself to be just what you need. Let you down again. I'll let you down again. I'll let you.
Nice.
Well done.
That was very pretty. Very pretty voice.
You were writing in the journal about your journal. Your open journal for everyone to see, and you can't read. That's a good line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the like the range that you use in the quietness and the way you doubled that, and it's always nice to hear the room ambience with that kind of aesthetic, and very lovely personal song. I enjoyed it.
That's great.
Relaxed me. It made me relax.
Also, very cute cat on the cover image. I can't show it, but it's a cute cat. Trust me.
Yeah, I kind of feel similarly about this one as one of the ones earlier that was just guitar and voice, where I was talking about the matter-of-factness of the lyrics and how it's like kind of something you would just say to your friend on the couch, but you know, it's still like, you know, rhythmic, and the phrases are like, you know, have good lengths and rhythms, so it can be formatted into, you know, verses and stuff. But there's no real intention here, from what I can tell, of being super metaphoric and everything. And I like how that was done in a way that wasn't, you know, that this still sounded musical. It's pretty much a carbon copy of what I said earlier, so I probably didn't need to say all that. Well, it was like 3 hours ago, so
Still applies.
yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was a great song to end on.
Yeah. Nice to hear your song.
Yeah,
I
I hope to
guess
hear
I-
more. Hope you send in another one next month.
Yeah, keep
it up.
being involved, please.
Yeah.
I could offer like one like bit of
Yeah.
advice you could take or leave, and I'm sure you're already aware of this. And I know it might be hard to do this effectively, depending on how long you've been playing, or your hand shape, or your guitar shape. But you know, I notice some of the notes that were strummed would like kind of buzz intermittently, and I assume that's probably because your finger pressure on the fretboard was a little bit inconsistent, like lightening up a little bit and then tightening down again. And I know how it feels to struggle with that. I remember struggling with that, especially on acoustic guitars and guitars that don't have very low action. But so if you're interested in improving that, I'm sure Ben would have better ways of helping with that. But you know, little finger exercises, or just at least being more aware of like how far down your fingers are pressed on the fretboard, and if they're in the right spot, like if they're too close to the frets or too far away from them, it can cause that issue. But at the same time, it's not a big deal. I mean, it sounds cool, so whatever.
New prompt's not up yet, but it will be within a week or something. You'll see it pop up in the Discord. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Everyone.
Thank you all for sending in your music. Angel, thank you again so much for joining us. Ben, thank you
Yes.
for always joining me.
It is my joy. It's the only thing I enjoy in life.
That's not true. I know that's a lie. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you all real soon. New prompts will be in the Discord soon. Join the Discord if you haven't yet. Join the song challenge. It's great. Look at all these wonderful, happy people and how good it's been for them.
Tiny happy people holding hands.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.